This is the GJRB Online Network. Now, GJRB presents the Gary Russen program, the original news talk program. Call Gary J. Russen right now on the Skype line at gary.russen or contact him on the GJRB chat room by clicking the balloon icon on the GJRB Spreaker widget on the Spreaker public site and on Twitter. Now, the Gary Russen program. And hello everyone, hello everywhere across America and around the world on GJRB Online on Spreaker from our GJRB Spreaker Studios, just above the Lion Shopping District on Clinton's North End. And of course I hit that button and that button decided to play, but I should have had that turned off, but okay. Anyway, turned off my automation. Anyway, welcome to the Gary Russen program. I almost said Saturday Extra. Welcome to the Gary Russen program, Freestyle Friday edition, right here on GJRB Online. This is the program where we bring you internet radio talk and fun at its best. And today is Friday. That means it's usually a slow news day, but we have some really good news stories for you today. Anyhow, even though it's a slow news day, got some interesting stories I'm going to bring you, so you're going to want to tune into this program today. Got some real good stories and some interesting ones and fabulous stuff that President Trump is doing today. Really good thing. And, we're going to talk about that. And we're also going to talk about some other things, too. Our program schedule and what we got coming up. We're going to talk more about the new GJRB Online program schedule 2020, and we'll get into that in just a little bit as we get further into the show. And, of course, we're going to talk about a lot of other things, but today, I was thinking about this week, and I was thinking about this the other night. I think sometimes... and I don't know if it's because I've said it many times before, and I had a tendency to talk too much. And I think about, I think it got, sometimes my show sometimes does get a little too political. And sometimes I kind of stress the issue a little too much sometimes on a lot of things. And I'm thinking, maybe it's time to take a break from all that political stuff. It's getting old. It gets old after time. Everything gets stale. We talk about the impeachment hearings, and we'll continue doing the impeachment trial. We'll keep talking about that, but we'll talk about the other things going on, and we'll do the news at the bottom of the top of the clock like I always do when I do all my daily programs. But I think I'm going to take a break from talking, about politics all the time. We're talking about, all this stuff going on, and kind of get tired of, repeating myself. And maybe I've been doing that too much, and maybe that's why my listenership has gone down. So, other than the fact that maybe I have to post my show while I'm on the air live, which, has something to do with it. But I think a lot of it, is the fact that I kind of express too much political stuff, and I think I'm just going to take a break from it. And today, it's going to be, Christian music a little bit, Christian talk, a little variety, and we're going to kind of take a break from all the political news. And we're going to do a little news, our news and comment, regular stuff we do when we start our Friday show. But I'm not going to push the heavy political agenda that much today. It's going to be a fun show where I'm just going to talk and play music. And I understand today that a good friend, Mike Myers, the Radio Hope Network, is going to be on live this afternoon. He's going to start in my second hour. So I'm not going to really catch him live, but he has a couple of interesting guests on his program. And, tune into that if you like. But I hope that you will come around here and join me here live as well with the Gary Russen program, Freestyle Friday show. Got some good stuff. We'll be here till 6, play some music, talk, give you all kinds of interesting things. We'll talk about my program schedule a little bit. We're going to get into that. And I got some really good hopes for this station in 2020 with a lot of things I want to do that, be a little different than what I have been doing on this radio show. And I need to kind of take a break from, I get tired of talking about the politics myself sometimes. It kind of gets old. It wears out. It wears out. It's welcome. And it's just, the Democrats are going to do what they're going to do. And basically, you're not going to get away from it. It's the same old hashed out stuff. This whole trial going on right now with the Trump impeachment trial, it's just a rehash of what we've already heard, And I really think that it's kind of, it's getting old before it even, before the trial even gets underway. I mean, it's just the same stuff. And I really, they're televising this trial, of course. A lot of people don't like the fact that this trial preempts everybody's favorite TV show. And I agree with that. I mean, really, I remember when the Nixon trials were on. It took away from, giving a viewer a choice of watching that or watching something else, I mean, why is it that has to be on every, this trial has to be on every channel? Now, I noticed the trial started and I was watching live earlier on Facebook, and then I went over to KWQC Channel 6, our NBC outlet out here, and it had Days of Our Lives on. So I think some stations are deciding not to run it, or some networks are deciding not to run it. That I can't, I'm not, exactly sure, but I know that, some of the stations are probably, networks are running it, some of the news channels are doing wall-to-wall coverage, but I think that I really don't really, I don't know if I really care about this trial that much. I mean, like I said, rehashed material. And we'll get a little bit of it, but it's just a lot of confusing stuff, and we'll get into that. But President Trump today, and his impeachment trial is going on, and even he is not paying attention to it. He's mentioned, I think, that he was not even paying attention to the trial. He stated in one of his comments that he's not. He doesn't. I don't think he really cares. To be quite honest with you, I quite frankly don't think he cares the least about this thing. But he was in Washington D.C. and I know they just had the 47th annual March for Life in Washington, D.C., and he spoke at that, and I'll have that coming up. Really good speech, by the way. I was listening to it earlier. Good one, actually. So we'll have that one coming up as well. And, of course, we'll have some more news, so why don't we get started on that and open up our show, get some news going here on GJRB Online here on the Gary Russen program, Freestyle Friday edition. This is where we open up the show, and we don't follow a log, and we just kind of leave it open, and it's just free form, and take my regular breaks at regular times, but it's mostly free form. And we're going to do 50 minutes of nonstop talk and music every hour. So that means that after we take this break coming up around 1:45, then I'm going to come back, and it's going to be straight 50 minutes of nonstop talk and music and stuff. So you want to tune in. You're going to have a fabulous time bringing you some great internet talk radio, and Well, why don't we get started and give you some of the news of the day here on GJRB Online here on Spreaker. First off, why don't we get started by talking about the news of the day. President Trump did speak today at the 47th Annual March of Life in Washington, D.C. And a fabulous speech indeed, talking about how he is going to make it, standing up for pro-life. And this is the only president that's doing this. You didn't see President Obama do this, but here he was speaking at a thing about the pro-life, and he talked about some of the landmark pro-life rules, and it started out by him coming out and using God Bless the USA as his entrance theme there. Fabulous. And again, he talked about how he's going to defend the rights of the pro-life and the pro-life rule. And he talked about this, about the pro-life rule, and about the fact that he's going to talk. He has told Congress that he's going to he's going to stand up for any. He's not going to. He's going to veto every legislation that demeans life. That is going to bring down life. And I think he had a really good...
or that encourages the destruction of human life. At the United Nations, I made clear that global bureaucrats have no business attacking the sovereignty of nations that protect innocent life. Unborn children have never had a stronger defender in the White House. And as the Bible tells us, each person is wonderfully made.
Yeah. And he also stated that later on in his speech that he's going to defend, he's going to tell the colleges, these are the liberal colleges, folks. We're talking about the liberal colleges. And he's talking about how he's going to tell some of these liberal colleges that all these pro-life students will be protected. I think this is fabulous. He talks about this, about the fact that he's going to protect the pro-life students at college and universities.
We are
okay. Let's see that.
As written, including two phenomenal Supreme Court justices, Neil Gorsuch and Brett Kavanaugh. We are protecting pro-life students' right to free speech on college campuses. And if universities want federal taxpayer dollars, then they must uphold your First Amendment right to speak your mind, and if they don't, they pay a very big financial penalty, which they will not be willing to pay.
There you go. I like that one. That's it. Fabulous.
Sadly, the far left is actively working to erase our God-given rights, shut down faith-based charities, ban religious believers from the public square, and silence Americans who believe in the sanctity of life.
Yeah.
They are coming after me because I am fighting for you, and we are fighting for those who have no voice, and we will win because we know how to win.
There you go. Tells it like it is, eh? That's the truth too. They're attacking him for what he's doing. That's why you got this impeachment trial, folks. Okay, and it's all I got to say at this point. There's a reason that the Democrats want him. They've been picking on this guy since the day he walked into the White House. and took over the presidency. They find everything against this man. And it all started with all those women standing up and all that stuff. Yeah, it continues. It continues. And, well, you know what you're going to do? Just keeps on happening. And the coronavirus, you know that virus that's coming there from China? Well, apparently someone in Chicago, an older woman was in Chicago, and she was one of those that flew over to China. And they had today just had a conference going on, a news conference, a second U.S. case of coronavirus, and this is part of that conference.
But I want to start by stating clearly that this is a single travel-associated case, not a local emergency. We obviously take emerging viruses very seriously, and there are still many unanswered questions about this novel virus. But I can reassure you that even with this Chicago case, the health risk to the general public from novel coronavirus remains low at this time, both nationally and in Chicago. Chicago has been building its public health preparedness systems for years, and we have a solid response plan in place. There is no need for the general public to change their behavior in any way based on this news. The patient is a woman in her 60s. Most importantly, I'm pleased to report that she is clinically doing well and is in stable condition. She traveled to Wuhan, China in late December and returned to the U.S. on January 13th. A few days after arriving home, the patient began to feel unwell. She called ahead to alert her doctor to her illness rather than just presenting to a clinic or emergency department. This is exactly what any potentially ill returning traveler from Wuhan should do. Call ahead and seek medical care. This patient's doctor's office appropriately asked about travel history and quickly put a mask on the patient, helping limit the potential risk of spreading infection. Her doctor then referred her directly to a hospital with infection control capabilities for further workup. Again, this is exactly what we've been educating local healthcare providers to do. Ask about travel history and reach out to your local public health department to discuss any ill patients with recent travel to Wuhan, China.
And that's good. So they're pretty much praising them for doing the correct thing, making sure that people, and the day back, I've been to the doctors a number of times, and they asked me that question, and I've never really traveled. Haven't gone to, I have no money to go to China, let alone really care to go anyway. But the point of the matter is, they'll ask you that question even if you're not a person who travels or has enough money. I mean, I don't know why. I mean, they would think that they don't have enough money to travel, let alone go over to China, but they're not going to ask me that question. They're going to keep asking everybody that question, not just me, everybody. They ask anybody if you've traveled, and they have and it's in their procedure. They have to do it. They have to ask those questions, and it's important that they do that, and they're doing their job. Absolutely fabulous. All right, coming up on our show, we got some more good stuff we're going to talk about here this afternoon, including a story I was going to bring you at the tail end of the last Gary Russen program midweek edition on Wednesday, and that's the Virginia gun rights rally, which is going on. They rallied at the Virginia Capitol in Richmond, Virginia, after their governor had put in a reinforcement laws and issued warnings to federal employees. They're saying, in other words, they had this anti-gun legislation going through in Virginia by their governor, and there are people now protesting that. And I was watching a video while preparing for this, and I might play it later. One of the guys I think that works for Alex Jones' network, InfoWars, was up there doing a report on that, and I'll try to get that played a little later on in this program because it's pretty darn interesting. It's a lengthy recording, but basically he's talking about some of the things going on regarding this rally. And they're saying the Antifa was supposed to show up at that rally. And so far there hasn't been any violence so far in this pro-gun rally. And gotta tell you that I give a lot of positive praise on these people because they are really out there. The gun rights activists are taking the grounds at the Capitol of Richmond, Virginia. The state legislature moved forward in the measures of threatening their Second Amendment rights. Federal law enforcement had also issued warnings on some federal employees that and militant groups like Antifa are expected to attend that rally. Thus far, there has, again, like I said, no violence. Thank God for that. Sources on the ground described the protest to SarahACarter.com. It's peaceful with the attendance of thousands. One told this news site that told the news site which I'm referring this to, and that is ARA, their site, and they're saying that it was very peaceful peaceful protest and attendance of thousands. One told his news site that a lot of chanting USA going on there, and I heard that earlier. Government law enforcement officials told the news site that they are warning not to attend the rally. The officials are citing, they're saying that law enforcement told the news site that I'm referring to here, they're warned not to attend this rally. That Antifa would seek and blend into the crowd of gun rights people. They're going to pretend that they're for it, but they're not. They're warning conservative and pro-gun clothing. Gun owners are also told to be aware that thieves are trying to steal guns from their vehicles, according to a warning issued by the government officials. Federal reports indicate that, however, that Antifa won't be present for the fear of retaliation. Antifa's Seven Hills, which also based in Richmond, wrote in a statement that the group has never indicated they were attending that group, nor did they make any call of action for folks to engage in the way that they are being purported. President Trump took to Twitter yesterday. President Trump took to Twitter on Monday to show solidarity with the protesters. He said, quote, "The Democratic Party and the great Commonwealth of Virginia are working hard to take away your Second Amendment rights, and this is just the beginning. Don't let that happen. Vote Republican in 2020, he wrote. In the anticipation of this event, the governor there, Northam, declared a state of emergency last week, warning citizens of credible threats of violence surrounding this event, along with white nationalist rhetoric and plans on out-of-state militia groups also to attend. So it's going to get, it could get interesting. The governor's declaration prohibits all weapons, including firearms, from Capitol grounds, and will provide a joint law enforcement and public safety agencies the resources they need to help the demonstrators and policymakers of all in Virginia safe. So they're doing that, and that's from the Sarah. Okay, this is Sarah.com, which I'm reading from. One of the other gun right activists, I think she's kind of like the other Dana Loesch. She's kind of like that. She's kind of a big supporter of gun rights, and I think that's absolutely fabulous. And I give them a lot of credit. I stand by them 101%. That is for sure. Okay, we got some more stuff coming up. And like I said before, it's not, like I said before, people who have mental disabilities or mental problems should not have one. But when you get people who are stable, I see no reason why they can't own a gun to keep them and their families safe. I'm for that. Okay, I am for that. And we'll talk more about that throughout the show today. News and comment throughout the show. And, of course, your comments are welcome. And along with that, talk and music right here on the Gary Russen program. Freestyle Friday edition. Slow Friday. And we usually do this as a fun show because it's what it is. It's just a variety of talk, news and music and sports on GJRB Online and the Gary Russen program. And I hope you're enjoying the program so far. And I hope you'll stay with me throughout this Friday. Talk about news and all kinds of stuff. Today we had a lot of snow last night. It snowed for quite a while this morning too, not that much, but now a nationwide weather update. This is GJRB's weather on the 5. I think it's supposed to snow some more. I got another interesting story over in Newfoundland. They had a lot of snow. We'll get that coming up. But right now, a series of A series of warm weather systems are producing some rain and heavy at times. Also, it's going to combine with some high snow levels, which could lead to flooding and flash flooding across the northern California and the Pacific's northwest. A slow-moving system is going to spread across and bring some wintry conditions across the Appalachians and the Northeast, and many areas with some more heavy rain into the Mid-Atlantic. And we'll have a complete rundown on all your weather throughout the afternoon. We'll have weather on the 5s from Weather Nation. We'll stop by there. And, of course, I got that all set up a little bit better, so it'll sound a little better, and it won't be crackly and all that other stuff. Because I had some trouble with it this morning. But I'll have weather on the 5s for you coming up again, another half hour. Weather on the 5s, 25 to 45 minutes past the hour on all music shows. 25-45 on most music shows, including Gary J's Good Times, Great Oldies Show. I've got that coming up again. And, of course, our Positive Rock Show returning to the airwaves. And we'll be, I'll be talking about our program schedule coming up. Because I have a delay on the start of the schedule here. And I'll get to that. But weather on the 5s, 25 and 55 past the hour on most talk shows. Anytime of the hour it ends in 5, 15, 25, 35, 45, or 55 past the hour right here on GJRB Online and GJRB Online Network, the Gary Russen program on Friday afternoon here on GJRB Online. So I want to thank you for tuning in, and I hope you'll enjoy the program throughout the day. We've got a lot of really good stuff coming up for you, and some great music, and we'll play some of that. But like I said before, I've got program schedules planned for you, and like I said, next week is the last week of January. So I don't know if I'm going to be doing too much broadcasting. It's going to be getting ready for the February, and we're going to be starting the schedule in February. I'm going to play around with it in February. I'm going to be doing a test run of the schedule in February. Along with that, Wednesday next week, I'm going to be doing a video cast, a live video on the GJRB TV YouTube channel, which I'm going to talk about our program schedule. I'll be doing that. I got that planned out. When you go to the GJRB TV YouTube channel, subscribe to that, and you'll see a notification come up. As you hit that notification bell, it'll give you the notification that I'm going to be on the air with that. So just to let you know that that's what we're going to be doing. All right, and you can be prepared for that. And be on it, so that when we get on the air with that video schedule, you'll be able to see it. And then the audio part of that schedule will be here on Spreaker and on Podbean. So I'll let you know about that. But right now, though, let's take a look at the news and some of the stories we're covering for you today. The impeachment trial continues. The deliberations continue in the trial for President Trump's impeachment. We'll have that story also coming up in the news. We'll have these stories. New CDC on the coronavirus report, second case confirmed. Also coming up, we'll talk about that and a lot of other news stories. So stay tuned for that. I'll also give you details on some more stories, including another, yes, be talking about this in an opinion coming up. Another stupid challenge is coming up. We'll talk about this one. This is another challenge, and it's stupid, and I'll be talking about that. Challenge for kids to not fully plug in their cell phone, and then putting some kind of like a quarter or nickel in there or something, and it's causing a spark. We got that coming up. So stay tuned for that. I'm Gary J. Russen. Imagine one day tuning around on your internet radio only to find a station playing old radio programs complete with commercials and thinking, what am I tuning into? The past? You might be, or it's just GJRB Online and Radio Land. A day of nothing but classic radio shows back to back with classic commercials in between. Like the days of radio. Almost like your computer is picking up signals through time. Closer than you'll ever get to time travel. Radio Land. Suicide's increasing among the youth, and many of them playing suicide games. This has to stop. Parents, watch your kids, and if you feel there's something going on and they are considering suicide, please talk to them. Help them. And if it seems hopeless, call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. That number is 1-800-273-8255. They can help. It's free and confidential. Your call will be answered by a trained counselor in a local crisis center. The National Suicide Prevention Lifeline can help. Recently, the owner of Facebook had to face Congress over personal information on Facebook users. In addition, users were saying that their postings were being deleted. Getting sick and tired of your censorship and your data being used without your permission? Do something about it now. Come to MeWe, the internet social site that values your freedom. No more deleted postings. Make a step to freedom. Sign up today. It's easy. Go to www.MeWe.com. That's M-E-W-E. MeWe, the internet's free speech social site. End times are upon us, and we need to know what's happening. Knowing the truth is key to survival. There are lots of news events going on in the world that have certain significance to end time happenings. Listen, as men and women gather to discuss the news and how it lines up with Bible prophecy on the last 7 days. Uploaded as a podcast Wednesdays and run live every third Friday at 12 o'clock noon Central on GJRB.
Whether it's baseball, basketball, hockey, even bowling, it's covered on Gary J's Sports page. I'll talk about what's going on in the world of sports all over the USA. We'll read you interesting articles about the players and even keep up with the scores of the games going on live. I'll even have guests from time to time and just talk sports. Better than any newspaper page, it comes alive. Gary J's Sports page. Join me for Sports Page at a brand new time, alternating Saturdays at noon on GJRB.
There's a problem on our roads today, and that is the safety of our children boarding and getting off the bus on busy roads. That problem is drivers who don't stop for a school bus when the arm is out, the lights are flashing, and the stop sign is out, leaving kids in danger of getting hit. Violators of this law could get a suspension of their driver's license and a $250 fine. When you see a school bus stop at a corner, letting off kids, stop. 25 kids. Don't take that chance. Yeah, one of the great ones there from our jazz playlist, and good song there. I like that one. That's Martin Bloxon and Chasing the Rain. Great piece of music. Got smooth jazz coming back on the air real soon here. As a matter of fact, in a couple of weeks when we start our schedule in February. So stay tuned for that. Yeah, so check that out. It's be fabulous. Gary J. Russen with you. Hope you're enjoying the program wherever you're listening across America. And welcome to the second half of our program, the second half hour of our show. As we get to the first half hour of our program, always goes fast. It always does. Just for some reason, it just does. Wow. So earlier, anyway, Alex Jones was at that rally in Virginia, storming Virginia. As a matter of fact, he even ran into Geraldo Rivera. Yeah, he actually met with Geraldo Rivera on that excursion. And I don't know, let's see if this video works. But anyway, from InfoWars, Alex Jones and his crew right in Richmond, Virginia, to stand up for the Second Amendment rights of fellow patriots. And one of them, like I said, Alex Jones met up with one of them, and the video's not showing up here, so that's interesting. He met up with Geraldo Rivera. I was thinking maybe perhaps it was on here, but I'm not sure. A lot of videos from it, and I'm not sure if all of them are on here. Actually, the Second Amendment victory. I saw some interesting ones there. I don't know if Alex Jones himself is there or not, but he met up with a band. Oh, that's a band video. Ooh, not too people happy with Alex Jones. You have a bunch of videos here, and some of them banned. Here's the one where he meets up with Geraldo Rivera. Check this out.
Geraldo Rivera, you've been on the show years ago.
Yes, you were on my show. Yesterday.
Hey, we saw you.
Yeah, I can see it.
How's it going? You out here marching around?
I don't know if you're the most people.
Well, no, they're demonizing a little clip out of context. But I know you're exercising, but do a 2-minute interview with us.
Okay.
What do you make of the whole impeachment thing and now the Senate trial? Guys, come on over here. We can actually get the audio. It's my crew right here. Geraldo Rivera. You've been on the show years ago.
Yes, you were on my show.
That's right. I've been on your show.
I think impeachment is a totally partisan exercise, as witnessed by the fact that not a single Republican joined in it. It is a harbinger, I think, of negative things in the future of the country when the House is taken over by one party. The president can easily be impeached by the House in a purely political exercise, as I think this is, ultimately.
What do you predict happens?
Oh, I think after a lot of agony, the president will be acquitted and the nation will pick up and go on with the electoral process. They should have just waited for the election to decide what the hell to do.
What do you think happens to the Democratic Party? Because it
woke me. My wife is waiting.
No, I know you got to go, but I mean, what do you think ends up happening to the Democratic Party in this next election?
I think the country is so divided, Alex, that Democratic precincts will go Democrat and the Republicans will go Republican. The country will remain absolutely divided, almost exactly in half. And, hopefully a healing will begin. I'd like the president to be kinder and gentler. I'd like the Democrats to be more...
So you're just saying more balkanization, we need to have reconciliation.
That's what I
And
say.
you think President Trump's trying to do that after he's acquitted?
I believe that's what...
All right, Geraldo, well, good to see you in person,
You too,
man.
Alex.
I've been on your show a few times, been on mine.
Yeah. You've been demonized enough, you know. I know there's a good side to you. All right.
That's when he met up with Geraldo Rivera at the Virginia gun rally, pro-gun rally. And, there's a lot of the right-wing side saying that he will be acquitted. So, let's just see what happens there. That's interview with Geraldo Rivera. All right. This is the Gary Russen program here on GJRB Online. Your comments are welcome on here, and I hope that you'll stay with me throughout the afternoon for all that. Here on GJRB Online, the Gary Russen program, and I hope you'll tune in all day long for the interesting news that we're bringing you here. And right now we're going to continue. Like I said before, we're not going to get too much into politics. Like I said, we're going to take a little break from that. But I just kind of bring you the news, and that's pretty much what that is. And getting too heavily into my own opinions at this point. Just kind of, juggling the news around a little bit. Not really, heavily on the negative politics, which seems to be, and it is dividing a nation. It is, and a lot of people, there's too much hate going on here between two parties, and it's ridiculous. And it's all over a lot of stupid stuff. It really is. President, how can they hate this president when he's doing a lot of good? I mean, their Democratic president definitely isn't going to be showing up at no pro-life rally. The 47th annual March for Rights. I don't see any Democratic president being there. But here's President Trump standing up for pro-life. Absolutely fabulous. Meanwhile, I guess over in Newfoundland, around Canada, there's a state of emergency after they had a month of snow. Yeah. St. John's Mayor Danny Breen stated that we don't feel that the streets are at the safety level they need to be in order to take care of off the state emergency right now. It started to snow in St. John's, the capital of Newfoundland, and Labrador, Canada, on Christmas Eve. It hasn't stopped since. Yeah. Deputy City Manager of Public Works Lynn Ann Windsor said that the consistent pile-up has made clearing the snow a challenge. The last state of emergency was 35 years ago, Breen stated, and added that it intended to modernize the plan given how the city and its commercial operations have since changed. The mayor stated, quote, "This is a very challenging for business and is very challenging for people working. Restrictions on travel and businesses that opening have been relaxed on some despite that extension. Medical health and dental practitioners as well as veterinarians will be allowed to open as of 8 o'clock a.m. tomorrow morning, according to Breen. Those who live in St. John's but work in other municipalities are now allowed to travel to work." So it's a good thing there. The mayor also urged people to be careful in the heavy equipment moving around on the roads and keeping children especially safe. So yeah, there's pictures of this. And I remember seeing this just the other day too. There's a picture of a person who had there, and this is in Canada, I believe. There's the people, I saw a picture the other day, a video of that from a person's porch camera that shows elapsed time and how the snow is piled up so high that they can't even get out of their house. And I'm looking at this guy who is in the snow in this one picture, and his head is only showing. That's how far down the snow he is. You imagine that snow being that high. Good grief. And it snowed since Christmas Eve there. It's like, wow. Canadians are really getting hammered with this. The state of emergency now follows last week's record-breaking weather for the region, and making it so that the snow really deep in some spots. Good grief! Can you imagine snow that deep? Whoa. Yeah. Wow. Anyway, we got a lot more good stuff coming up. Hope you'll stay with me throughout the afternoon. The Gary Russen program here on GJRB Online. And we'll take a break and be right back with more of the Gary Russen program right after we take this break and Station ID on the GJRB Online Network. Be right back.
Remodeling or building? Look no further than the experts at Berry Lumber.
Great jazz on GJRB with the best of jazz, up-and-coming jazz, smooth jazz, and smooth afternoon.
If you can't get enough of jazz and you live in the Quad Cities area, tune in to KALA, St. Ambrose University in Davenport, Iowa. and 88.5 on the FM dial. Along with some of that great smooth jazz, you hear a lot of great jazz programming.
And programming in other great music formats.
Like blues, urban, including rap. Also classic R&B and Motown with David Baker on Rewind, Friday nights at 6 p.m. Central. In addition, you get programming in Spanish and some great gospel programming too. For more information on that great program you'll hear, check out their schedule at www.sau.edu/KALA. Even if you don't live in the Quad Cities area, you can enjoy KALA anywhere in the world with their internet stream. Connect with KALA. Listen and enjoy.
Recently, the owner of Facebook had released comments over personal information on Facebook users. In addition, users were saying that their postings were being deleted. Getting sick and tired of censorship and deleted reviews without your work permission? Do something about it now. Come to MeWe, the internet social site that values your freedom. No more deleted postings. Make a step to freedom. Sign up today. It's easy. Go to www.MeWe.com. That's MeWe. MeWe, the internet free speech social site.
All right, back on the air, Gary Russen program on GJRB Online on a Friday afternoon here in GJRB Spreakerland, USA. Hope you'll stay with me for some great internet talk radio. And we're on the air here live for our Gary Russen program, Freestyle Friday edition, here on Spreaker, here on GJRB Online. And, of course, we'll be having more good stories coming up in the next hour. And we'll be talking about our program schedule, play some music, and more stuff on our playlist. And yeah, I see that guy in the ground like that. Only his upper torso showing up. It's wild. He said St. John's Airport reported 76.2 centimeters. That's 30 inches of snow Friday last week. Last week, according to the Environmental Canada, breaking the previous daily snowfall record of April 5th, 1999, with 68.4 centimeters or 26.93 inches. Wow. In Canada, this is where it was at. I don't remember exactly where that was at, but oh man, could you imagine that? And here in Clinton, Iowa, it shut us down for well over a month or more. That's how how bad that is. Coming up, we'll talk more about Chinese and they're fumigating that area, like roaches, fumigating. And a story I'll talk about a little later on. The last 7 days, I'm working on getting that up here in Spreaker. And interesting story here, and you'll hear this on the last 7 days when I get that uploaded. There's struggling churches now who are throwing the older people out. We got that story coming up, and a challenge which I think is pretty pathetic. And the fire department is warning about this. If you have kids using this, I guess it's a social site called TikTok. I'm not familiar with it. Don't go to every single social site out there at all, because I think a lot of it is
imagine one day around on your internet
ridiculous, but we're going to talk about this. And this one now is pretty bad when they're teaching kids to do this. They have their phone not fully plugged into the wall. So they tell you this is it. This is what they're doing. This is going viral now. It's a new internet challenge. And if kids are getting this challenge, we encourage you parents out there to discourage this behavior. And what it calls for is for cell phone charger plugs. Those plugs you plug in the wall. I have one, and I use it for what it's supposed to be used for. According to this story, and I think I'll use this story first because I think this is a real interesting one. It really is. Here's the full story on this challenge. This is a challenge. A TikTok viral challenge for kids to do this. To cause a spark. Yeah, cause a spark by putting some kind of nickel, penny, whatever. And I have your phone plugged in fully, partially plugged in, into a wall outlet, and sliding a penny. It was a penny. Sliding a penny down into the wall to expose the prongs, resulting in a spark or even a fire. This is serious, folks. Listen to this.
Tonight, about the latest social media challenge now emerging on the platform TikTok. Firefighters in Massachusetts say that two students plugged a cell phone charger into the wall and dropped a penny behind it. The outlet shorted out, causing a small fire.
The other issue can be that you do some damage to electrical wiring behind the wall, and a fire could be undetected and burning in the walls, endangering everyone that's in the building.
Yeah, firefighters are asking parents to talk to their kids about these dangerous viral challenges.
Oh, an update tonight.
Imagine that. See, now here we go again. Another stupid challenge.
Tonight about the
all-time gospel favorites
for GJRB. Now, what teaching these kids to do this? This story comes from Channel 13 someplace. I'm not exactly sure where. But it was the Holden Fire Department, and I don't know exactly where that's at. Massachusetts. Okay, so it's
you might be watching GJRB online and radio.
Channel 13 out there. He said officials in Massachusetts also issuing a warning to parents.
Like the days of radio.
But kids are online. According to this, they're saying that, like I said, exposing the prongs and putting a penny in there. And
coast to coast and way out there, fans. Listen up. If you like UFO conspiracies, ghosts, and the paranormal, you'll love Spaced Out Radio. Spreaker's answer the Coast to Coast AM with more interesting guest experts in the paranormal UFOs each month. You like Way Out There, you'll love Spaced Out Radio. Own the night with Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott. Nightly at 11 p.m. Central, 12 o'clock midnight Eastern, and 9 p.m. Pacific. On Spreaker, on Periscope, and on D-Talk Radio Network.
In this, again, stupid challenge. The department went on to say the parents to follow these electrical safety rules and insert plugs fully into the sockets, and also advised their children not to tamper with tamper-resistant electrical outlets and replace wall outlets if plugs are not tightly being plugged in, and also show signs of damage, and do not overload outlets. They were forced 3-prong plugs into a 2-slot outlet. Parents are advising to keep their eye on their kids as well and have conversations about this, about fire and electrical safety. In addition to electrical fire safety, the department also would like to remind parents and children to discuss dangers of certain online challenges like this, recognizing dangerous activity on the internet. Yeah, so this is what they're doing. And you have to wonder about this kind of the stupid stuff that they're pulling again. that we learned from the last challenge. Remember the last challenge? Yeah, we didn't forget that last challenge. I have it from a year or so ago, from a Gary Russen program, and I should bring that back to remind you of that. One of my memorable moments segments when we do our breaks. Oh yes, we remember, don't we? Yes, the Tide Pod challenge. Remember that one? See, they're always. This is the evil. I don't know who sits and thinks these things up, but it's got to stop. Seriously. It has to stop. Coming up, we want to say goodbye. We have a few bits to talk about. We talked more about yesterday. One of the members of the on Wednesday's program, talking about the loss of one of Monty Python's members. But I want to say goodbye, and of course, so long to Dark Shadows actor John Carlin, who died at the age of 86. We'll have that coming up. And the other half of the Jim Lair journalist News Hour co-founder. We'll have that coming up. And a lot more. We continue the Gary Russen program. Freestyle Friday edition. We're in the midst, and we just started 50 minutes of nonstop talking music right here on GJRB Online, here on Spreaker. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Hope you're enjoying the program wherever you're listening across the USA, and I hope you're enjoying the show. Meanwhile, if you like the show, please hit that like button. You're always welcome to hit that like button whenever possible. Now, nationwide weather update. This is GJRB's weather on the phone. Now, let's take a look at the weather across America right now. 60 degrees and partly cloudy in San Francisco, California, Manhattan, New York City, 50 degrees. Is that right? Fair. So it's kind of warm. Sheeler Park near Chicago right now. They're in fog. Listen up. 37 degrees. Boston, Massachusetts, 43. Fair. Houston, Texas, checking in at 66 and fair. And we'll take a look at some more temperatures nationwide throughout the afternoon here on GJRB Online. Weather on the 5s, 25 and 55 past the hour on all talk shows, and 25 and 45 on the Positive Rock Show coming back. GJRB Online in February. Weather on the 5s. Okay? Alrighty. I hope you'll stay with me. The Gary Russen program on Saturday Extra tomorrow. We're going to see. I'm trying to get a hold of Ben. Hopefully he can be on tomorrow because greatest platform on the planet. I contacted. I messaged him yesterday. And I was hoping maybe perhaps he would get a hold of me, but unfortunately, to no avail so far. And I have a feeling that he probably will not be in. I don't know. I'm going to keep checking with him later tonight after I get off the air. But we're just going to see if he can be on tomorrow. Let's see. Maybe perhaps he can join us tomorrow. Ben Osman. And I have some more backup stuff for you tomorrow, including a long overdue predictions for 2020 from our pastor, Ron Johnston, from our church. We're going to play that one if Ben can make it. And we'll also do a few clips from, preview clips from the last 7 days, which I'm trying to get up more often. I'm working on the last 7 days, getting uploaded on that Thursday, right after it's over. So that would mean maybe around, and this would be according to my schedule, to have the last 7 days up, and scheduled to go up, and scheduled to go public around, I'm going to say 12 o'clock noon. I think that would be about the best time. Because if I do the Gary Russen or Gary J in the morning show, when we get that service back up over there, and we get the internet back up there at full force, I'm going to be doing my morning show over there again. And then I think that would be the best time to have it up right after my morning show is over, so that people can listen online till I get home, and then I'll be back on the air, from here at that time. The show. It's 4 o'clock Central Standard Time right now. 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock Eastern, 2 o'clock Pacific. And I'm Gary J. Russen, and you are tuned to the Gary Russen program. Right here, the Gary Russen program, Freestyle Friday edition. right here on GJRB Online, right here on Spreaker. And thank you so much for tuning in today. I'll turn that up. Okay, bring that up so I can hear it. And here we go. Yeah.
From America's Heartland, this is GJRB, Clinton, Iowa.
And it is the Gary Russen program, Freestyle Friday edition, hour number 2. Getting things started here in the afternoon on GJRB Online, here on Spreaker, across America. And, of course, we did that just a trifle bit early because this watch I have, a number of years ago before I had my surgery, is starting to lose its juice, battery juice, because the light is not as bright as it used to be. So I have to kind of challenge myself. I'm going to start using the wall clock because I can see that sometimes better than than my other clock. And it's 4 o'clock Central Standard Time. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Gary Russen program, Freestyle Friday editions. We started a new hour. And coming up in this hour, we're going to do more interesting stories. And you're welcome to have your comments welcome here on GJRB Online. Play some music along the way. We're in the midst of 50 minutes of nonstop talking music here on GJRB Online. 50, count them 50, total minutes of nonstop talking music here on GJRB on a Freestyle Friday edition. So it's always a pleasure doing this show when we get that going on, right? And yeah, we're just going to see what we can get here. And we have 35 minutes left, so we're going to use that 35 minutes with great glee here. We're going to continue doing some news stories and talking here as we get into the second hour on GJRB Online, talking about some of the news stories we have been covering. And, we talked about the challenge that they want to do. These dumb kids, they have to come up with these stupid challenges to waste our time, and more challenges that will fill hospital rooms. And what are you going to do? You deal with this stuff all the time, kids being dumb. All right, let's see, why don't we do this? Let's do a bio on Rip Carlin. Now, on John Carlin, I remember is I was a big fan, of course, of Dark Shadows. I watch it once in a while. It was also on Cagney and Lacey. John Carlin, known for multiple parts in a long-running show, the 1966 Dark Shadows. He also was in the movie, I believe. He was the one character who discovered that Barnabas Collins was a vampire. Anyway, he passed away on January 22nd, 2020. And he died at the age of 70. What was it? 86. So he was 86. Died at the age of 86, and he was the star of Cagney and Lacey as well. He was a regular on there, starring also in Barnaby Jones, Hawaii Five-0. He was in Mannix, Police Story, and Hill Street Blues. His first starring role, though, was well remembered as part of Willie Loomis, the man who had released the vampire Barnabas Collins from his coffin on Dark Shadows. And like many other cast members, Carlin played multiple roles in that series. He would later play Carl Collins, Desmond Collins, and Kendrick Young. And he stayed with that show until it ended in 1971. Carlin's other famous roles for it would be Harvey Lacey, the husband of Tyne Daly's Mary Beth Lacey on the show Cagney and Lacey. Carlin's character was an integral part of the show's appeal. While Cagney was a single career woman, Lacey had a husband and children, and the audience tuned in to see them, and they worked out different lives. Carlin would reprise his role on the Cagney and Lacey's television movie produced in 1994 and 1996 when they had that reprise role. He died at the age of 86, so that was a great loss. And then Jim Lehrer. Remember the Neil Lehrer News Hour? It was for a lot of years. on public television. I remember because I used to always watch it. When I was working at WQPT, the public television station, my early years at that station, when I started in 2005, McNeil Era News Hours was still on the air. And I was running the Master Control at that time, and I used to watch it quite a bit when it came on. Well, he died. Yeah, Jim Lair died. He was the host of that program. He was dead. Found dead at the age of 85. And he was a journalist for PBS's nightly newscast. He died peacefully in his sleep on Thursday, according to the network. Lair anchored the public television nightly newscast for 36 years before retiring in 2011. You can see in 2005, I was still working at I just started at WQPT when that was still on. So I remember him being on there. I remember watching it. But he retired in 2011, which was about a year or so after I left WQPT. He was on there for quite a while. No, he wasn't always on there all the time. So I think he was at that point where he was pretty bad shape. But anyway, Lair NewsHour, he died at he retired in 2011. He was an anchor for several years on the NewsHour and reported the news with a clear sense of purpose and integrity, even in the world where media changed around him. The obituary is available on pbs.org if you want to read more on it. Jim Lair of McNeil Lair News Hour died at the age of 85. Actually, a good journalist. And I'm talking about a man who, coming from a liberal news outlet such as PBS and NPR for that matter. They did very well explain the news, and I always missed that program because I think it was very well done for a left-wing network. And I mean, it was, and I really miss watching that because that's kind of the highlight of my work at WQPT, because I would start about 4 o'clock in the afternoon at WQPT in 2005. And I worked until midnight till the station signed off, because back in those days they were signing off at 12 o'clock midnight. Well, I was running board off there for quite a while at WQPT when that was on, and I always looked forward to watching that. And that was usually my supper time, or my lunch time, so to speak. I used that break because I didn't have that much going on, and I had to record PBS feeds. But I remember it well. McNeil Lair News Hour, and Jim Lair died at the age of 85. Well missed. Absolutely fabulous. You're listening to the Gary Russen program, and this is our Freestyle Friday edition. You're welcome to be part of the program if you want to get on. If you like the program, please hit the like button, because that means that it goes into my algorithms, and I know that there are people out there listening to the show. And I know that there's somebody out there right now on the air at about the same time as I am, and I'm going to double check that just in case. Just want to see something. Just out of curiosity, I'm going to go into my home page here and see what we have here and see who's on the air live. And I bet you we should see that Mike Myers is on live. I want to see here. Should go down the page. Oh, yeah, here he is. Sure enough, there he is live right now. Radio Hope special. He's got Jasminko and Tyson. And these guys is promoting this quite a bit. So that's on opposite me right now. He just started in my second hour. So I'll have to listen to that later. But I might just stop in on it. I don't know. I don't know if he'll mind if I play his thing on the air real quick. Let's just hear what it sounds like.
Yeah, I heard it smells like coffee.
He said that, Naveen. It does. It smells like coffee.
Yeah. I don't know how you have problems.
Let's just leave that out of context.
Yeah, let's just not touch that. You can't touch that thing.
Yeah. Yeah, he's on there. Okay, that's Mike Myers at Radio Hope Live right now at the same time we are. And that's the first time I think that Mike has ever been on live at the same time we have. I'm gonna have to pop in there and tell them I'm on the air live just to see. I don't know if you get ticked off at me a lot for doing this, but I'm gonna do it anyway. While we're doing that, I'm going to see here if Mike. He doesn't have anybody in his chat room. I'm surprised. So I'm gonna say hi to Mike. To do that, and while I'm doing that, let's see. Let's see. I'm doing this right now. Okay. Let's see. Okay, I'll just try this just for the fun of it. Okay. Just say hi to your guest, too. Because it seems like I'm the only one in the chat room as far as that's concerned, which I'm surprised he's even on this time of day. He promoted this to be on the air now. Like I said, he started in my second hour. Let's see. So I'm going to have fun with this. I'm going to click this and see if he responds to it on the air live. I'm going to check this out and see what we get here.
So,
okay, we're going to have fun with this. Okay.
Have you ever, Tyson, had your shirt pulled?
It's not.
Up when you bend over and that little part's hanging there?
What, like the back? No.
The little cracky thing?
Okay.
My wife wants to put a pencil in there all the time. That's just wrong.
Weird.
Okay.
All right, I'll
when I do siding and windows.
Is that what you do for a living?
I do before, and I see the guy, he's bent over, and I go behind him and put caulking.
Okay, this is a little explicit, isn't it? Oh my gosh. Let's see if he even notices this.
Funny.
Especially when you're on the scaffold and he's down and he's been over, you put caulking.
Let's see what the heck he comes out and see if there's anything.
I took off my sweatshirt.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, try
My
again.
bad.
No, it's okay. I just want you to sound the best you possibly can. Checking 1, 2, 3. See, we kind of watch the levels right up there.
Where does
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I
Right
still
there.
see mine. It's
Yeah.
also probably because I'm really close.
You're really close.
I feel like that's a problem.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I don't know why that doesn't work right now.
By the way, we have about 24 minutes left of this 50 minutes of non-stop talk.
So anyway, I have some
Music on
questions for you.
GJRB Online.
First of all, and these got to be serious questions, because I have lost some listeners because I have Muslim friends.
Stupid.
It is stupid. Can I give you their address? For you to go take them out? I'm not talking about a date either. But we'll send your son. You ought to hear him talking about, I'll kick him in the knees and he'll wish he'd never messed with me. And they try to do anything to me, I'll just...
That's what he's saying.
I know, that's what
Give
he's...
him a molly whopping.
A molly whopping? I don't even want to know what a molly...
It's a shake. Like a drink shake. You'll give them a free shake.
Yeah, to be cool.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. You can pull that down. Just see like this. See, if I'm sitting here, I can go, well, I can't.
Yeah.
I'm just really short.
So
But you can pull it down as
Mike
far as
is on live right now, as you hear. I'm not going to let this play this much longer. I just want to see if he notices.
Chat room over here. See if we get anything up. And we may not have many people listening. It's okay.
It's okay.
It is okay, because you know what?
For first
Very
time.
well.
We're hanging.
And
We should do this like
I'm live at the same time, dude. Oh my!
Do you remember the time I told you guys one of the neatest things about having this job of driving you is you give me something to look forward to every single day of the week?
And then sometimes we can be something not to look forward to.
No, what I look forward to is when I drop the last one off and go home.
And then drink some Bosnian coffee.
Actually, I do have some, and we'll have to take a break here. Are you a waterman?
I don't care. I can drink anything as long as it's under the age of 21 now.
Yeah, and he's on it. You're a sharp kid.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do with that sharpness and that hair? I am so jealous of your hair.
I'm gonna go to the army.
Are you really?
Yes.
Yep.
And then I'm gonna have longer hair than any girl I know, and I'm just gonna show it off.
Kind of like, I can't think of the guys. There's all
Jason Momoa.
Who?
Aquaman.
Anyway, that is Mike Myers. He's on live right now with a guest, and we'll check in and see if he'll reply on the air over here. But anyway, you're listening to the Gary Russen program on GJRB Online. It's our Freestyle Friday edition, and I had to tell him for the sake of me, I was popping him on live briefly. I don't know if he's not liking that too much. I don't know. I'm just waiting to see if
man in buns. I'm just not even going there.
So
anyway, let me.
Okay, let's see if he's going to respond here.
So, but seriously, do you? These are dumb questions because I already know the answers to them, but I'd like to hear yours. Do you think there's a bit of a Muslim bias in the United States?
Yes.
How does it make you feel?
I don't know right now. I don't have an answer right now.
That's a good answer. I know how it makes me feel. It makes me angry. I mean, it's not anything close to the same thing, but with us Christian folk, I mean, there's just a lot of people with their own. You go ahead.
Isn't bias where you don't like someone just because if it's a Muslim bias, it's you don't like them because they're biased?
You don't like them because that's what they are, and that's who they are. That's not who they are. That's what they believe. Yes.
Okay, that's also being racist.
Well, the Muslim people is not everybody's same. You know that.
Sure.
Yes, I do, and that's what bugs me when somebody says, "Well, I'm not effing listening to your effing show anymore." You effing whatever lover. It's I'm really sorry you feel that way.
Are there people typing?
Oh my gosh, yeah, there's all of a sudden folks there. There's Janelle. Janelle is a sweetheart. And GJRB is Gary J. Russen. He's a fellow podcaster. And we have two very interesting, one of the things, let me back up. Beep, 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 beep. So, have you had a chance to think about the question yet, Yasminko?
Anyway, I'm not going to do that whole thing because he's on there live, and I'm not going to invade on his space. But that's just an interesting. I'll have to listen to that fully later. But want to at least drop a hi on to them. I'm hoping maybe he'll drop in the last hour of this show. But anyway, you're listening to the Gary Russen program on GJRB Online. It's 17 minutes past 4 o'clock Central Standard Time. It's after 2 o'clock Pacific, and let's see, 5 o'clock Eastern. And Jill, I was just reading something just the other day regarding the fact that there's some states that it's going to permanently be on daylight savings time when it turns over in spring. Now, I'm trying to figure out how that's going to work out. Now, when you're talking about a difference in hours, so I'm wondering if there's going to be an hour difference between, let's say, Iowa and Illinois, because Illinois is going to be one that's going to do it. And then they're saying, I think, another state, there's a couple of other states that are permanently going to go daylight savings time. And I'm thinking, how's that going to work? Does that mean that there's going to be some states that are going to be different in time than we are here in Iowa? I mean, is there going to be some states that are going to maybe be the same as, say, Eastern time? That's a good question. Because if some states decide they're going to, and I'm wondering if other states will follow suit to avoid the confusion of let's say getting their states to change over, and match what the other states are doing so you don't get that time confusion. You're going to have to wonder about that. Because what if, and I'm just saying this because I'm curious how that's going to differentiate when it comes to when the time changes back in the fall. How many states are going to be different in time? Is it a different time zone than we are because they don't change at the end of daylight savings time in November? I mean, I just have to wonder about that. I mean, I'm just curious to find that out. So I'm going to pose that question. I think that's a good question. How is that going to interfere with other times, especially some states decide they're not going to stay on daylight savings time in November when they change the time back. So I kind of wonder about that. I'm kind of curious how that's going to all work out, because in the long run, the states that decide, well, we're going to keep changing time with the rest of the states, or are they going to be forcing other states to permanently go daylight savings time? This is something that is kind of interesting, and we're going to talk about that coming up. And your comments are welcome. Alaska's got a winter storm warning out. Winter storm warning for Haynesboro, they can pronounce that, Skagway municipalities, expiring Friday, 5 o'clock p.m. HST, whatever that stands for, HST. Anyway, in Alaska time. So I'm going to get into that one. That's interesting. How that's going to come about. But we'll get into that in detail. Also coming up, I hope you'll stay with me. Got another half hour. Your comments are welcome. And we're doing 15 minutes of nonstop talk every hour during the show. That means we go straight past the half hour mark, and we keep on going until we take that break. We have let me see, how much more minutes? We got 15 minutes and 12 seconds left in this 15-minute nonstop talk segment. So we're going to be taking a break here pretty soon. And we'll come back on the other side with another 50 to toward the end of our show. So we're going to keep doing that. And you're welcome to be part of the program. And you want to call me up, just get in the Skype line. As a matter of fact, I should open up my Skype line while I got that chance. I am available right now on Skype. Gary.Russen on Skype. If you're a Facebook follower and friend, you can contact me through the messenger by calling in and hitting that call button. When you hit that call button, it puts you on the air. And you can call the program. And we'll put you on the air. But right now, Mike's got a lot of the calls. See, Mike's got a lot of the people in here right now because he's got a guest on there. And I just stopped in to say hi. So he knows that I'm probably busy with my show. So I don't think he expects to probably won't hear from me throughout the whole show. So anyway, getting back to what I was talking about, I'm going to go into some more detail here because we're going to do a scroll through social media real soon here and do Facebook, Twitter, and all the other social sites. And we'll continue talking about some of this other interesting stories. And tomorrow, well, let's see, I'm going to keep on trying Ben Osman to see if he's going to be on the show. So we're going to get into that. I don't know what's holding him up. Every week, in the past 2 weeks, I've contacted him like midweek and never hear from him at all. So I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. And by the way, tomorrow's Gary Russen program, Saturday Extra, is going to be the last Gary Russen Saturday Extra for a while. I'm going to take next Saturday off. I got a party to go to, so I won't be going on the air again after that show. I'm going to take that Saturday off. And then we're going to start, I'm going to launch up the schedule. Now, like I said before, and I'll say it again, Wednesday, the 29th, I'm going to be on YouTube, the GJRB TV YouTube channel, to show you the new GJRB online network radio schedule 2020. And it's going to be a rundown of how the schedule is. I made a new graph, and it's pretty cool. I like this one better than any of the other schedule graphs I made. This one is pretty darn cool, and I think I pretty much got every show in. Because I'm alternating weeks. And I think it's going to work a little better. I really do. I sincerely think it's going to work a little better when I alternate the weeks on my programs. And, of course, there's going to be a slight variation. I have a disclaimer on at the end of it as well. And I'll talk about that coming up. And we'll get into the full program schedule, what we're going to do and everything. And some of the stuff we're going to do at the church. Some of the stuff we're going to do on Podbean. There's going to be a difference between here and Podbean, what days I'm going to do Podbean. I have a rotated schedule as far as what shows are going to be on Podbean and what shows are going to be on Spreaker, or what shows are going to be on both. And, of course, that also means it's going to shuffle in with a video version of this program on YouTube. So watch for that. Meanwhile, back at the jungle, it's time to take a look. Now a nationwide weather update. This is GJRB's Weather on the Fives. And let's do that right now. Take a look at the weather across the nation. Let's take a look at some national temperatures. Right now, take a look at Billings, Montana, 53 degrees, 51 degrees in Seattle, Washington, 55 degrees in Portland, Oregon this hour. Some of the current temperatures, 59 degrees in San Francisco, California. Not bad. 72 degrees in Los Angeles. Going eastward, let's go up to the northeast and up around our area and then the upper Mississippi. 32 degrees in Minneapolis, St. Paul, Minnesota right now. 21 degrees in Bismarck, North Dakota. 30 degrees in Omaha, Nebraska. 35 in Chicago, Illinois right now. 35. And let's see, where else do we have here? 35 degrees 36 degrees Detroit, 46 degrees also in New York City, 36 degrees in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 31 degrees in Des Moines, Iowa, 33 in Kansas City, 47 in Nashville, Tennessee. Tonight's lows expected, 33 degrees in Chicago, 35 in Detroit, 39 expected for New York City, 34 degrees in Oklahoma City. Lubbock, Texas expecting 37 tonight, and cold 22 in Flagstaff. 52 degrees in Seattle for tomorrow. Taking south down to Florida, Orlando 70, and 76 degrees for Miami. 65 expected tomorrow for Lubbock, Texas, and 66 for San Antonio, Texas. Let's take a look at our weather with Weather Nation. I always forget that I have this board.
University there, and still watching some of the areas where we've had rain falling over the past quite a few hours here, coming in from the south, moving across the rest of the area. We're in warm air faction at the moment. Believe it or not, same into Erie, Pennsylvania. The further you go to the east, the warmer it gets, because we're still seeing all this flow coming up from the south and moving on to the east, so we'll watch that for you. The big comma shape is low pressure sitting across the western sections of Kentucky at the moment, feeding into it. Lots of moisture out of the Gulf of Mexico that goes way up here to the north. Makes the turn right about there, and there's already some colder air that has been in place on this side, and so we're bringing in and dropping this into snowflakes across this area, and that'll continue to be your story for the rest of this evening. Omaha, back along I-35, really looks to be the main transport area there into the colder weather that we do see. Down to the south, we're looking into the state of Florida, Miami to the north, along I-95, Jacksonville over to I-75, and then it gets a little bit more linear here, I-95, Savannah to the north and northwest, Columbia. This has all just happened in the last couple of hours, so we'll watch this. There's probably some lightning, more lightning that's going to be projected here as we go through the next few hours. That's where our marginal risk for some strong thunderstorms continues into the rest of this evening. I-81, Roanoke over to Charleston, southern sections of West Virginia, Pittsburgh, and over to Cleveland. That's heavy rain coming in from the south and mixing into the area. We will be watching that as we go through the next couple of hours. Back into the west here, we're still looking at the rain in the western sections of Washington State, Seattle to Portland, Salem, and southern Vancouver Island, where everything is moving from the south and west to the north and east, and back up through the region there too. Northern portions of California, we got some light rain coming in there as well. But watching the whole area here, and we're still looking at what's happening.
Have you seen this yet?
I have not seen this.
Okay, so keep watching. Can you guess what shape it is yet, or what it's going to be?
This is going to be Is that another Sasquatch?
we showed that from Washington yesterday.
This is interesting. Kansas City Chiefs logo.
Yeah.
That's a visual there. They got some kind of new map system or something there.
Mapping out a game plan with everything you had going on there.
Kind of did.
But you know,
the Chiefs, they're in the whole.
The big game. The big game coming up next weekend.
It'll be a super game.
It will be. Yeah, quite the game.
I'm expecting that.
So you showed that picture from Erie, Pennsylvania, and it was surprisingly snowless. Not a lot on the ground, and there's not a lot of wintry weather out there right now.
Well, we've been talking a lot about warm air advection and cold air advection. Warm air advection comes in from the warmer portions down in the Gulf of Mexico. We bring warm air to the north. Well, the same has to happen. If you're going to bring in cold air, you got to have it to the north somewhere.
Yeah.
And we really don't have any super cold air to the north any longer. It's
right.
We used a lot of it over the past month or two. It's kind of like opening up the refrigerator door. If you just keep opening it up, it gets warmer and warmer on the inside. And we opened up the refrigerator door, if you will, across the border for the last month, and now we don't have anything up the Hudson Bay. It's not super cold up here anymore.
Yeah, so that's why even though you see this big sprawling storm system, there's a lot of rain with it, and even some severe storms on the southern side of it.
Yeah, there's a warm front there, and so that's the line that does delineate where we have some of the warm, moist, humid air that will be coming northward, where the dew points, they're not too critical. Into the upper 50s is about all I could find. 60s is where you'd most likely see the severe weather, but still a linear thing setting up there. We'll watch the next couple of hours.
Yeah, so that rain moves its way up the northeast. There will be some snow on the backside of this that really falls primarily Sunday, but here's kind of the whole picture. More so rain for a lot of cities, still another inch or two yet to come.
All your coastal cities in particular here, because the low stays onshore and not offshore, so we're going to be bringing up that southerly wind again, and that's just a rain event throughout much of the interior until you get the western half of Pennsylvania and New York.
All right, we're going to check back in with David in just a moment with that Viper radar and any updates on anything brewing out there. One update you on the west, though, because we have our parade of systems that continues with a nice little rainbow that we saw in the Seattle and Hansville, Washington area today. I know I saw the National Weather Service office in Seattle share a picture from the Space Needle there of the rainbow earlier today. Nice to see some blue from time to time as well. All right, let's get you over to those winter, the big story here in the Northwest, which is the rainfall, persistent rainfall. New reports coming in from Oregon and Washington. The highest amounts, 3-4 inches over the past couple of days. Seattle, Portland, a little less, but a decent amount, up to an inch and a half. More specifically, last 24 hours, Forks has been a very wet spot in Washington. 1.11 inches, 0.72 in Portland. As it dries out, east of the Cascades, Yakima, 8/100ths of an inch, and Spokane, as you get up the hill a little bit, about a third of an inch of rainfall and precipitation. But it's mainly been rainfall. The snow level is very high with the warm system here, too. So the snow showers are now entering in far northwestern Wyoming and western Montana. Those should peter out tonight. And then the next big batch of moisture comes in late tonight, and you wake up to some raindrops in many areas tomorrow. I will say the snow level drops a little bit this weekend. Looks like it drops to around 4,500 feet or so in the Washington area, meaning that snow above that level, rain below. But then we have another storm system right behind it, right on its heels tomorrow night into Sunday morning. That races in, goes across with a little bit more energy in Idaho, Montana, Utah, Wyoming, and Colorado. That would be on Sunday night. So here's the forecast: rain and snow through Sunday night, and you really see it pinpointed closer to the coast, especially between Medford, Oregon, and Redding, California. That's where you have the potential for up to a few inches of rainfall. That's why tomorrow, Medford over to Eureka, there is a marginal risk of flooding out of that next batch of moisture that hones in on southwest Oregon. Then we look longer term to next week, and that active weather pattern continues with storm after storm. And you add it all up through next week, early next week, Tuesday, and there's potential for a foot plus and highest peaks. Monitor that avalanche danger, and then up to about 3 to 6 inches of rainfall now through early next week in some areas. Take a look at this. This is coming in from Killington, Vermont. Killington ski area, hoping for some snow. We'll talk about what the East can expect. New winter weather alerts have been issued.
And there you go. Weather on the 5s, 25 and 55 past the hour on all music, all talk shows here on GJRB Online, and the Gary Russen program, Freestyle Friday edition here on GJRB Online on Spreaker, as we continue bringing you the best in internet talk radio. And Ed Delgado and the Caramel Conservative in the chat room right now. Thanks for stopping in. And like I said before, I'm on opposite mic. That's what I said. I'm the opposite. It's like being on opposite a highest rated show. I just, can we compete with this? That's the big question. But anyway, having fun anyhow doing the radio. I love doing this stuff, and I don't care. Hey, tell you what, we're going to take a break and be right back. I got more of the Gary Russen program stuff coming up for you. Stay tuned. Your comments are welcome. And talk about that bit with this new challenge now. Yeah. Kids plugging their phone charger halfway in and then dropping a penny in there. That's like really smart, isn't it? When are they going to quit being stupid? We'll be right back. We got more coming up as we continue the Gary Russen program on GJRB. Stand by. Watch, pray, for you not know what hour the Son of God will return. Prophecy, New World Order, terrorism, economic collapse, wars, pandemics, Israel. When they say peace, then cometh sudden destruction. Volcanic eruptions, earthquakes, signs in the heavens. Keep up with world news and events you hear on GJRB's News on the Hour. Go to End Time Headlines at www.endtimeheadlines.org. With a lot of chaos happening, keep in touch with End Time Headlines and GJRB. Imagine one day tuning around on your internet radio only to find a station playing old radio programs complete with commercials and thinking, what am I tuning into? The past? You might be, or it's just GJRB Online and Radioland. A day of nothing but classic radio shows back to back with classic commercials in between. Like the days of radio. Almost like your computer is picking up signals through time. Closer than you'll ever get to time travel. Radioland.
Coast to coast and way out there, fans. Listen up. If you like UFO conspiracies, ghosts, and the paranormal, you'll love Spaced Out Radio. Spreaker's answer to Coast AM with more interesting guest experts in the paranormal and UFOs each month. If you like Way Out There, you'll love Spaced Out Radio. Own the night with Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott. Nightly at 11 p.m. Central, 12 o'clock midnight Eastern, and 9 p.m. Pacific. On Spreaker, on Periscope, and on D-Talk Radio Network.
This is the station from North Clinton, giving you the best in music variety on the nation's top podcast platform. The greatest platform on the planet, Spreaker. This is GJRB Online, the GJRB Online Network. All right, we're back on the air, the Gary Russen program on GJRB Online, and thank you so much for tuning in for the Gary Russen program Freestyle Friday edition. And, of course, we had Delgado stop in. He's on listening to, I don't know, maybe he's listening to two shows at the same time. He'll always catch fun later, that's for sure. It's always available. And I'll be on again tomorrow live, 3 o'clock Central Standard here on GJRB Online for the Gary Russen program Saturday Extra. It'll be my last Saturday Extra for a while. Next Saturday, I'm going to be taking a day off. I got somewhere to go, and I think got some stuff to do on next Saturday. And I'm working on getting my programming together. As I'm working on my program schedule, I've got a schedule update podcast that I was talking to you about that I'm working on. It's a video of the new schedule graph that I made. Absolutely fabulous, colorful looking graph. It shows how the program schedule is going to run, how I'm going to do things, how I'm going to run the programming from now on here on GJRB Online. As I've been on for the past few months now here on the broadcaster plan. And as I mentioned earlier, I just started another, and a lot of people thought that I was hacked. I wasn't hacked. I started another Facebook page called Gary John, which will have my show on there when I'm on here live with periodic updates. So let people know that I'm on the air live and I'm still on the air, and so I'll promote what's coming up on the show and various things like that. As part of my show prep, I'm kind of adding that on, and basically it just tells you what's coming up on the show. So you have an idea what is coming up. I got a casual sports page coming up where I just relax and talk about some sporting news. We'll have that coming up. As a matter of fact, I'm going to probably get that ready to go here in just a couple of minutes and pop into my Yahoo page and pull that up, and we'll do weather on the file. We'll do the sports page. Actually, all I have to do is just go into Yahoo Sports. Really don't have to sign in. Just go to my Yahoo Sports and give you the stories that I'm covering in sports. So we'll do that coming up. Got a couple of interesting stories here that we're going to do. Let's see. We've got here one on Eli Manning. We got that one coming up. And the Saints seek... let's see. We'll talk about that, about the Saints here. But let's see what else we have here. Eli Manning officially being announced his retirement from the NFL. The New York Giants, he said this today, the team co-owner, John Mara, made it official that it will be likely be assumed by many Giants fans. No Giant will ever wear that number 10 again. So they're retiring the number as well.
Let's hear from Giants co-owner John Mara.
Very mixed emotions for us. It's sad in one sense because we're seeing the end of an incredible playing career and saying goodbye to someone who has been everything you could ask a player to be, both on and off the field, for the last 16 years. Yet we're also very happy because we get to be here to celebrate that incredible career. And we're also able to witness one of the greatest players in franchise history be able to leave the game on his own terms, having played his whole career as a Giant, something that doesn't always happen in this business. And if anybody deserved that opportunity, it's Eli Manning. For the last 16 years, Eli has meant so much to all of us here at the Giants and also to our fans. We all know about the 2 Super Bowl MVPs and all of the great performances on the field. But just as important was the way he conducted himself on and off the field as the consummate professional, always with dignity, always with class.
Yeah, absolutely fabulous. And Eli Manning, no one's going to wear that number again, he told the media. No Giant will ever wear number 10 again, affirming that the number he wore for 16 years is being retired. Manning will also be fast-tracked into the team's Ring of Honor, with Mara saying that the ceremony will happen during the 2020 regular season. Mara also got emotional on this discussion with the final game of Manning's rookie season in 2004. It was the last game of Mara's father, Wellington, who saw before his death in October of 2005. Wellington turned to John after the 28-24 New York win over Dallas and said, "I think we found our guy." Well, Manning is leaving. So we're going to well miss Eli Manning retiring. Manning was the 13th player of the Giants' history to have his number retired, and the first since Lawrence Taylor. Oddly enough, though, just the 12th annual number retired. Number 14 was retired on both Ward Cuff and Y.E. Tittle. I remember hearing that name before. Cuff, a wingback who played with the team in 1937-45, and of course Y.E. Tittle, and I remember that name real well from my being a kid. The number retired. Tittle was traded to the team in 1961 and requested that number, and the elder Mara allowed it. So, say goodbye to Eli Manning, retiring from the New York Giants football team. Gary Russen with you here on GJRB Online, and that's our sports page update for now, and we'll do another one coming up next hour. Talk a little bit about what you think about that. Eli Manning retiring from the New York Giants. Your comments on that are welcome. And, of course, like I said before, I am on Spreaker. Now, the only way you can get in on that, of course, I would say it's time to let you know how you can get a hold of me and talk to me on the air. Yeah, let's do that right now. Wow, let's do it. Yeah. And you can do that by getting into the GJRB Spreaker public site where this show is located. And all you have to do is go in there. And you can listen to this on Twitter. I am the Radio Maniac there. And when you get into Twitter, you see the live stream there. It's going on. Yeah, right there. Just click that widget. When you click that widget, it opens up the live stream, and you can listen to our show right there. And you can also, scroll. I'd suggest you go and click that stream. It'll take you right to my site, and you can say hi in the chat room and scroll through the Twitter if you can. And I'd love to hear from you. Hit that like button if you like the show. And it goes into the algorithms. And when it goes into the algorithms, it becomes a suggestive show and becomes a part of the GJRB. Well, you'll probably keep seeing it. Maybe not. You don't want to, but hey, GJRB Online is a great station. There's something for everyone here on GJRB Online. So check that out. And of course, if you are a Facebook follower, you can follow me as Gary John, a brand new Facebook page, and you can listen to it'll take you right to my site. And of course, if you are a Facebook friend and follower on Gary John Russen, more than likely you can get in by getting into the chat room on the Messenger and hitting that call button, and it'll ring in the Spreaker Studios, because I do have let me see if I don't have my Facebook in there, because I think I changed it. Okay, so I'm going to have to pop that in. Oh, I got my Facebook up. Never mind. Why did I do that for? Okay. So I don't think I need my Facebook up. I'm going to click that in before it folds in. Anyway, there you go. And you'll find everything that you want on there. And, all that good stuff. Anywho, thank you so much for tuning into the program. Always glad that you could join me here on GJRB Online for some great internet radio at its very best. GJRB Online on Spreaker. And this is where you'll find all the great internet talk radio at here, GJRB Online. And right after we get done, we got some more good stuff here on our Spreaker FM side with great music from Zach and MTFB. And, of course, right after that, a little later on tonight, you'll hear on our local side Fade to Black with Jimmy Church, followed by Spaced Out Radio. That's all on right here on Spreaker tonight at 9 o'clock Central Standard Time and 7 o'clock Pacific over on the and of course right after that 9 o'clock 9:05 Pacific, 11:05 Central Time, 10:05 in the mountains, and 12:05 Eastern. You'll hear Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott from British Columbia, Canada. It's right here on the GJRB Online Network site on Spreaker. And you can find all these great people by just going to that following button and pull that up. You'll find everything you want on GJRB. Everything you want. Just do it for the fun of it, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, thanks a lot for tuning in anyway. And I'm Gary J. Russen, and well, let's see. Mike should be wrapping up here in about 10 minutes. Maybe we'll get some listeners off of him. I don't know. Let's see what happens. Anywho, gonna check out some more stuff. We're gonna do some more good stuff here. Let's see. I need a preview. Okay, I'm going to start up our scroll through social media as we crank up another 50 minutes of nonstop talk coming up in just a little bit here on GJRB Online, here on Spreaker across America, where we bring you the best in internet talk radio. The Gary Russen program here on GJRB Online. We'll be right back after we take this break. Got more coming up as we start another 50 minutes of nonstop talk and music on the Gary Russen program, Freestyle Friday Open Edition. Hang on. You hear great jazz on GJRB with the best of jazz, up-and-coming jazz, and smooth afternoon. If you can't get enough of jazz and you live in the Quad Cities area, tune in to KALA, St. Ambrose University in Davenport, Iowa, at 88.5 on the FM dial. Along with some of that great smooth jazz, you'll hear a lot of great jazz programming. And programming in other great music formats. Like blues, urban, including rap. Also classic R&B and Motown with David Baker on Rewind, Friday nights at 6 p.m. Central. In addition, you get programming in Spanish and some great gospel programming too. For more information on that great programming you'll hear, check out their schedule at www.sau.edu/KALA. Even if you don't live in the Quad Cities area, you can enjoy KALA anywhere in the world with their internet stream. Connect with KALA. Listen and enjoy. Recently, the owner of Facebook had to face Congress over personal information on Facebook users. In addition, users were saying that their postings were being deleted. Getting sick and tired of your censorship and your data being used without your permission?
Do something about it now. Come to MeWe, the internet social site that values your freedom. No more deleted postings. Make a step to freedom. Sign up today. It's easy. Go to www.mewe.com. That's M-E-W-E. MeWe, the internet's free speech social site.
Imagine one day tuning around on your internet radio only to find a station playing old radio programs complete with commercials and thinking, what am I tuning into? The past? You might be, or it's just GJRB Online and Radio Land. A day of nothing but classic radio shows back to back with classic commercials in between. Like the days of radio. Almost like your computer is picking up signals through time. Closer than you'll ever get to time travel. Radio Land.
That sound more like everyone else than anyone else.
Hey, all right, it's Kip Casper.
Spreaker is the website which turns anyone into a radio DJ. Log on to Spreaker.com for listening to thousands of radio channels and start creating your own radio today.
And we're back on the air, the Gary Russen program on GJRB as we crank up 50 minutes of non-stop talk and music as we head into the final hour of our show here on GJRB Online, the Gary Russen program Freestyle Friday edition. That's open lines, from open stuff from now until 5:45. It's about 15 minutes before we close out the show for today. So we're going to be doing nothing but talk, music, and fun, and we might just even conclude the show by just going straight into the end. You just never know what's going to happen on this program on a Friday edition, because I leave it open and just slide at the seat of my pants. You know what I'm saying? Just go with the flow. You know what I'm saying? So you're welcome to be part of the show. We got a lot of good people coming in here. A lot of people in the in my timeline. Hoping to enjoy their tuning in here. A lot of people on Facebook liking some of my posts, but that goes any further than that. So we're just going to kind of go through, and because, I thought we'd just we overdid weather to an extent, so we'll do weather a little later on. And go now and do the... scroll through social media. Do the scroll or the stroll. We should do that stroll. I should get that one better. But anyway, got a lot of good stuff coming up. Let's see. We're going to go down the line here a little bit. Continuing CBN News, saying House Democrat managers launched into their final arguments at President Trump's impeachment trial in the Senate today, as Democrats pressed their case before a skeptical Republican senator for the third day. President's legal team is preparing for defense expected to start tomorrow. Yeah, imagine that. Also, the annual March for Life crowd saw something never seen before in their minds. The President of the United States appearing at their annual event, and we had that earlier today. Great speech too, as a matter of fact. So we're going to talk about that. Let's see. What else do we have here? Anything else new down the line here? Okay. Let me see. Okay. I'm going to go down a little bit here, see what else we can find that's interesting. Okay, so these are the people they're talking about. He has a picture of them. And it's a nice picture, too. I like that background picture there. Beeve. Mike Myers' post there on Facebook. I like that studio set up there. That's nice. Anyway, those are the two guests that he has on his show today. And, of course, Mike has an elaborate, fabulous, better setup than mine. And absolutely incredible. So, guys, I like that picture. So I'm going to put a like upon that. All right, I'm going to go further down the page. Let's see what else we can find. Oh, there's an old Gates producer board. I was looking at one earlier today. It looked like one I had at the broadcasting school in Ohio. Almost like it. Almost identical. And it had the big honking, big, what do they call them, pots. And they were big knobs. These were the old consoles I learned to do radio from in Ohio, at the Ohio School of Broadcasting. Anyway, we'll talk about that a whole lot more. Let's get close to the top of the hour, 5 o'clock, and we'll get ready for the top of the hour news time, tone, and ID, and all that good stuff. So we'll get ready for that one. And then we'll continue. I got more good stuff coming your way here on GJRB Online, here on Spreaker, the Gary Russen program, here on GJRB Online Network. Thank you for tuning in on a Friday afternoon, the Gary Russen program, Freestyle Friday edition. We had Ed Delgado earlier today in the chat room, and he's kind of flipping between my show and Mike's, so I'm thinking that maybe Mike is about wrapping up, unless he's staying on longer. And we'll listen to that podcast later. And have a lot of other good stuff coming your way, so hope you'll stay with me. The Gary Russen program, Saturday Extra. Tomorrow we'll give you details on that coming up. But first, yep, it's 5 o'clock Central Standard Time, 6 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Pacific, and I'm Gary J. Russen. This is the GJRB Online Network. And welcome to the final hour of the Gary Russen program, Freestyle Friday edition. And tomorrow we'll be back on the air at 3 o'clock for the Gary Russen program, Saturday Extra. Got hoping that maybe we'll get Ben Osman in here. I'm going to get a hold of him after the show and see if he's willing to be on. If not, I got some backups, including the long overdue Pastor Ron's predictions from our church, our church, Clinton Church of Christ, and he's going to be. We're going to have his predictions for 2020. If Ben doesn't come on, but even if he does, I'm going to try to squeeze it in there somewhere. We'll get it on there. Meanwhile, I will upload it probably on the Spreaker Public site. Also uploading Spreaker Public site, our church services from last Sunday. That's going to go public on Sunday morning. Hopefully we'll get that done. And then on Monday, we're going to be off the air. Tuesday, don't know yet. Got to go. I got to babysit for a while. So I don't think we'll be able to do anything Tuesday, but I'm thinking we're going to... Wednesday, of course. Wednesday, you're going to be on YouTube. We're going to be on the GJRB TV YouTube channel. And like I said, just subscribe to the GJRB TV YouTube channel. That's GJRB TV YouTube channel. And we broadcast using the XSplit Broadcaster, absolutely fabulous virtual TV station on the computer. And I'll be doing my video version. Of course, the video... the GJRB schedule update and podcast video. I'm going to call it the GJRB schedule update podcast video. That'll be on Wednesday next week, 3 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time, 1 o'clock Pacific on YouTube for about, I'd say, an hour. It's not going to be any more than that. I think maybe hour, tops hour and a half, looking at going through the schedule. And basically, showing you how the programs are going to run and how I'm going to be doing this. So we'll talk about Spreaker, we'll talk about Podbean, and we'll talk about the shows that will be on there, as well as my YouTube channel. Because I haven't utilized it as much as I'd like to. I want to get more videos up there, and when spring comes, I'll probably go around and shoot some videos, spring in Clinton. Do different things to make this interesting broadcast and maybe get some more viewers. Like I said before, in audio, I'm getting listeners and trying to stray away a little bit from the political. And I did some political news today, but I'm not doing too much. I'm not kind of staying away from it because I think, an escape needs to be done to get away from it. And I decided to kind of make the show a little bit fun and make it more interesting. So I thought what we'd do right now is give you the songs that were number one from this time in a certain year. And we're going to go back to this week in 1960 when Johnny Preston had the number one record on the charts, Running Bear.
On the bank of the river stood Running Bear, young Indian played on the other side of the river. good as lovely, Indian maid, little white dove was her name. Such a lovely sight to see. But they tried, but with each other, so their love could never be. Running Bear, love little white dove with a love big as the sky. Running Bear, love little white dove with a love that couldn't die. He couldn't swim the raging river, 'cause the river was too wide. He couldn't reach little white dove waiting on the other side. In the moonlight he could see her throwing kisses across the way. Her little heart was beating faster, waiting there for a brave. Running Bear, love little white dove with a love big in the sky. Running Bear, love little white dove with a love that couldn't die. Running Bear dove in the water, little white dove did the same, and they swam out to each other. Through the swirling stream they came. As their hand touched and their lips met, the raging river pulled them down. Now they'll always be together in that happy hunting ground. Running Bear, love little white dove with a love big as the sky. Running Bear, love little white dove with a love that couldn't die.
Yeah, that's a song that freaked me out when I was a kid. Running Bear, Johnny Preston, 1960. This week, January 22nd, 1960, that was the #1 record on the national Billboard charts. Gary J. Russen with you on the Gary Russen program, Freestyle Friday edition here on Spreaker across America in the final hour, as we're doing 50 minutes total non-stop talk and music. We're going to close out this show, and hoping we get some listeners out there. And we had Ed Delgado in the first hour stop by and say hi, and it was fabulous, even though he's over there was listening to Mike Myers' program. And he had an interesting guest, and we're going to listen to that later, that podcast. I'm not sure if he's still on the air live or not, or did he end his show. I'm not sure. We're going to go take a look there and see. Looks like he's still on. I'm not sure. Let me refresh the page. Because sometimes Facebook, Spreaker will tell you they're still on, but then click and they're off the air. So it looks like Mike is still on, so he's entering his second hour, and it's an interesting conversation. I have to apologize, and I do mean this sincerely, because in my younger days, they were talking about this earlier, listening to that earlier. I was one of those that I gotta say that I was paranoid about the Muslims for a lot of years myself. Not that they were going to do harm to me, because I'm beginning to realize that there are two sets of Muslims. There are the ones that are extremist, and then there are the ones that are, the peaceful kind. And it sounded like they were to me, the peaceful kind that were on Mike's show today. And I have to realize that, and I'm convicted, because I was one of those that was kind of very anti-Muslim. I've kind of had that for a while there, fear of them. I'm going to say I was an Islamophobe. But I'm really sitting and rethinking that whole thing and saying to myself, maybe perhaps I was wrong on a lot of what I said regarding Muslims. There are some that are quite friendly. Matter of fact, I believe I had a teacher back at college that was one. My doctor, I think, is one. He's the one that took care of my heart situation. He was a fabulous man. He still is. He's across the here in Clinton, and he's my heart doctor. I believe he's one. And there are exceptions to the rule, and I got to look at it that way because I don't know much. Maybe a friend of mine in Pittsburgh said that too, that maybe perhaps I should do a study of that religion, extensively. And I thought maybe perhaps I should, because I've, on a number of occasions, have kind of not been so nice toward them, and not thinking that maybe perhaps there are good ones and bad ones. The ISIS and the extremists are the ones that want to kill us off, but they're the ones that they're the kind ones, the ones that just want to live here in America and have a decent way of life. And the only one I would think that I have a problem with right now is that congresswoman who, and I'm not going to say any more, but she's the one that kind of irritating because she is, mocking the 9/11, and I quite frankly, am offended by that. But other than that, I've never really, met, anyone, any mean ones that wanted to hurt me or my wife and family. So maybe perhaps if I really, really rethink this whole thing with the Muslims, some the ones they're the good ones. They're the good ones out there, and those are the ones that I like to make friends with. So Mike, he said that a lot of people had dumped his show because he says Muslims on there, but that's wrong too. And I've always stuck with Mike's program no matter what he has on, because he always has a good, interesting guest on. So I'm going to listen to that podcast later. I suggest you, if anybody are by here listening to this program, Mike Meyer's show is fabulous. The Radio Hope Network and the programs that he puts on are absolutely fabulous. And he always has an interesting guest on. Check him out. He's on live right now. And you can always check this program at the end of the program. You can listen to this podcast anytime. It's on demand right here on the GJRB Spreaker public site, where you can catch this program. And you can listen to it anytime. Just like that podcast, I can listen to Mike's program anytime. So right here on Spreaker, www.spreaker.com. And here, and it's backslash, it's /, I think it's forward, right? /user /5120525, or get in, like I said, get into my Twitter, and you'll find it. Very easy, right on Twitter. And you can listen to the show right there, and you can get in the chat room right there by hitting that comic book icon. And we're going to go to Twitter in just a little bit here on GJRB Online. But meanwhile, I want to go down the page here, and let's see. I'm going to go back over to my Facebook page. I was going through, and a nice picture there of one of our GJRB's favorite artists. He's got a new song out, by the way. I got to listen to it. I haven't checked it out yet. And he's got a real good picture there. I like it. So a big shout out to Samuel Day. It says, quote, "I can't trust the feelings that are screaming for the spotlight, because if I told you, would not have made it here." And he said, when the children of Israel are scoping out the promised land, many of them brought back fearful reports of giants, but only two saw past that to be the blessing that was there. Life isn't about taking foolish risks. It's but when you're following God, you can't always trust your feelings. Fabulous. And he's got a really good posting here on Facebook. So I'm going to check his. I think he's got some new music out, so I'm going to have to listen to that. Also, Huber's got a video here. This looks like an interesting one. Okay, I'm going to read that one. I'm going to go further down the page. I'm going to skip a lot of the political postings. That's an interesting video. What's this? This looks interesting. Jackie Perry posting that. And let's see, what else do we have? Let's go back over to and see if there's anybody in my Spreaker chat room there. And there's not. So we're going to kind of flip back and forth and see what we got here. I'm also doing my phone at the same time, which is down to like about 48%. So, well, whatever the case. So we'll still use it because it holds the battery power better than my tablet does. I'll tell you that much. I don't use my tablet as much as I used to because it gets stuck too much. So I'm going to try to deal with that somehow. I'm working on something there. Since I have Podbean on my phone, I probably will take it off my tablet so as to make room, because I still have Spreaker on there. I use the Spreaker app still, and a lot of times I usually keep the Spreaker app from my radio station and then Podbean on my phone. So, that's how I do that. I think it works better for me too, and it probably doesn't take all that much space. All right, let's see. While I go down, I'm going to flip over and see what's going on Twitter. So we're going to flip over to Twitter. That is, I am the Radio Maniac on Twitter. You'll find me there. And it's always fabulous to get on there because, let's see what we got here. Let's see. I get it on my Twitter page, and it's opening up. Update password. Because I did change my password. I do it quite frequently here. Every once in a while, I will change my password on my social sites because, this way it prevents any hacking that, I'll have to deal with it. So there it is. I'm looking right at the Gary Russen program 124-2020, and it shows my show right there. I just click that, and there is the stream, and there's the previous episodes just underneath that. You can check those shows out. We have one listener right now, and let's see what we got here. I got somebody in the chat room right now. Let's go flip over to that. No, let's see, just the same stuff there. It's just recognizing that I have posted there. That I'm up against the highest rated show on your Mike's program. So I kind of consider it the highest rated show. Okay. Let's see. What else do we have here? I'm going to go down the page here as we continue on Twitter. See if there's anything interesting on here, because it's kind of dry on the Facebook side. Oh, a lot of likes in. Let's see. We have a commentary over on the Twitter end of things. No, I don't. It shows that I have it just shows that I'm there. Okay, so I'm going to kind of click out of that one. Okay, so we have one like there. That's good. Somebody listening on Twitter. Go on the page a little bit. Spreaker advertising that you can schedule on the platform through your phone. And that, I think that kind of went off. I don't know if I can even do that anymore. From the White House, President Trump. Now, I follow him on Twitter. He posted here on tweet. He tweeted, and Julia, I can't pronounce her name, IOFFE, says, it doesn't get any more sincere and heartful than this, folks. President Trump posting, has a video here. President Trump, the real Donald Trump, unequivocally renounced foreign interference in our elections and accepted the conclusion of the intelligence community. So, there you go. Further down the line, this is interesting. Welcome to Iowa. This is a picture of, I guess, the Iowa 80 truck stop. Very interesting. Oh no, what's that? California. What's this? California moves to Texas, up 36%, the largest count. Oh, so this is Texas. Okay, why am I saying Iowa? Okay, go down further. Okay, let me see what else we have here. Live going on right now, unhinged on the Senate floor. Democrat representative and impeachment manager Hakeem Jeffries compares Trump to a terrorist who attacked America in 9/11 and Nazis in World War II. So we're going to keep on doing this. This is the reason why I want to get away from politics on this program for a while, because I'm just getting sick and tired of hearing the same old junk. All right, further down the line here, Weather Nation posting this one. This is interesting. What is that? Interesting. I'm not sure, but caught in detention by officials in the Department of Transportation in Washington, and it set social media ablaze. Could it be Bigfoot? Well, it's suspect to me. I don't see what they're seeing here. Oh my. It's showing that what looks like it could be a bear, though. This is in Sherman Pass, Washington. It could be just a bear, but they're saying it could be Bigfoot. Okay, so that's interesting. I'll go further down the page. Let's see what else we can find here. More Trump. More of the impeachment hearings, or say impeachment trial. Let's see. LinkedIn, Facebook. Okay, LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn, by the way, too. You can catch me on LinkedIn. I have to remember that name on there. Todd Starnes. So CNN, MS, Todd Starnes, I do follow him on Twitter. Now, as I told you a while back, Todd Starnes was let go by Fox. He was having a talk show on the Fox News Talk Network. Had a great program. As a matter of fact, I used to listen to it just about every day or every time we go on, because I carry it on my 9-foot closed circuit 107.9. And he had a good program on there. And he was on Fox for quite some time on the Fox News Talk Network. And they let him go. And I do miss his talk show, but I still follow him on Twitter. He says, so CNN and MSNBC are not covering the March for Life speech by Donald Trump. Care to explain why? Yeah, okay. So there's a number of comments on this one. Don't know. Where do you get the comments on here? I don't know. Okay. Let's see if we can go further on down the line. Adam Schiff, imagine that. It's amazing. Joe Biden, let's imagine it was any one of us. Let's imagine that most powerful men in the world are asking for a foreign nation to conduct a sham investigation of us. And what will you think about it then? Because next time it might be. And this is Adam Schiff. Here's a little piece of this bit. Runs about 1 minute 48 seconds. Check this out.
How important character is in the highest office in the land until you don't have it. Until you have a president willing to use his...
Let's get it from the beginning here. Check this out.
And the president says there's got to be some things happening to you. Or to you, or to you, or to you, or to you. How would you feel about the president of the United States? Would you think he was abusing the power of his office? And if you would, it shouldn't matter that it wasn't you. It shouldn't matter that it was Marie Yovanovitch. It shouldn't matter that it was Joe Biden. Because I'll tell you something, the next time, it just may be you. It just may be you. Do you think for a moment that any of you, no matter what your relationship with this president, no matter how close you are to this president, do you think for a moment that if he felt it was in his interest, he wouldn't ask you to be investigated? Do you think for a moment that he wouldn't? And if somewhere deep down below you realize that he would, you cannot leave a man like that in office when he has violated the Constitution. Shouldn't matter it was Joe Biden. Could have been any of us. It may be any of us.
And the amazing thing about it is, dude, you have to.
Some other diplomat tomorrow.
You have to prove that he violated anything, okay? And so far, what proof do you actually have? Really? Let's go down the page a little bit, see what else we can find here. George Conway, Spaced Out Radio, official account. This is interesting. Your thoughts on these? We found that caribou bush today, and I'm not saying Bigfoot or Sasquatch, but they look similar. So I'm wondering if that was the same so-called bear or Bigfoot that was spotted in Washington by the people at Weather Nation. I have to wonder about that one. Because yeah, really. We got some more stuff here as we continue the Gary Russen program, Freestyle Friday edition. Thanks for tuning in to GJRB Online here on Spreaker, and some more interesting stories along the way. And we are live on Spreaker. Hope we get some listeners. We have one like, and I'm going to put one in for myself because, you know, it always says, like your own show, which I do. And, you know, that works for me, right? Okay. Tell you what we're going to do right now. We still have Mike. He's on the air live. So we're going to kind of hit him and like his show too. And we'll listen to it later. Meanwhile, back at the jungle, as I always say, I like to say that, or back in wherever it is, and we're going to log in because I want to do weather on the 5s and take a look at our weather for Clinton. And like I said before, here in Clinton, Iowa, it's been kind of cold. We've had snow on the ground. It's been interesting weather indeed. Now, a nationwide weather update. This is GJRB's Weather on the 5. And snow was falling overnight here in Clinton, Iowa. We're still under a winter weather advisory here in Clinton. And I thought this weather advisory would be over by now. But apparently, I guess it isn't. A slow-moving storm is now going through this area. A slow-moving storm is going to bring some more snow to Illinois tonight, and until it begins to snow. Areas of dense fog are also expected. So there's going to be a visibility decline. The fog will then bring some visibility to less than a quarter of a mile. Not too good to be out tonight. The roads are going to be nasty too, so be careful if you're driving this evening. The fog will give way to snow in parts of Illinois and into Iowa, and the winds are going to shift northwest and increase 10 to 15 miles per hour. The winter storm advisory is in effect until 6 p.m. Now, as soon as we get off the air here, from 6 p.m. this evening until noon tomorrow. So as soon as we get off the air, it's going to start. We're going to get 2 to 4 inches of snow. Another accumulation expected. This is for Stevenson, Whiteside, Bureau, Putnam, Carroll counties only. So I think here in Clinton, Iowa, we'll be safe. Stevenson, Whiteside, Bureau, Putnam, and Carroll counties under this alert. From 6 p.m. this evening until noon tomorrow, CST. Impacts will plan on some slippery road conditions and periods of 2 to moderate snowfall, reduced visibility, and less than a mile at times. Precautionary preparation in there. Slow down. Please be careful driving tonight. And if you're going to drink, stay off the roads by all means. Please do. Because, we don't need any more people getting killed. Because useless people have to get behind the wheel under the influence of alcohol. What point is that? Really, what point is that? Anyway, let's take a look at our weather forecast for Clinton from our good friends at Weather Underground. and the fine people at Weather Underground here in Clinton. Let's take a look. According to the Mayer Farms, the Eagle Point Station. Mayer Farms at the Eagle Point Station right now, 34 degrees, feels like 31. The winds are out of the north at 3 miles per hour, gusting to 5. And our relative humidity is at 97%. Dew point 34. It's cloudy right now. We have a visibility of 4 miles only. Barometric pressure 29.86 inches of mercury. We have a UV index of 2. And good air quality, 22. Right now, 0% chance of precipitation, but we could see snow possibilities at around 10:30 tonight. Let's take a look. Occasional snow showers tonight, low about 31. Winds northwest 10 to 15 miles per hour. We have a chance of snow standing at 50%, and we expect another inch of snow here in Clinton. Cloudy, few flurries and snow showers tomorrow possible, with temps steady, low to mid-30s, winds in the west and northwest at 10 to 20 miles per hour. And then a 10% chance of precipitation tomorrow night, Saturday night, low 23. We'll have west winds again, 10 to 15 miles per hour. Once again, at our GJRB Spreaker Studios, just above the Lion Shopping District in Clinton, and at Mayer Farms at Eagle Point Station, 34 degrees. With winds north at 3 miles per hour. Cooler tomorrow. Weather on the 5s, 25 and 55 past the hour on all talk shows. 25, 45 on the Good Times Greg Oldie Show, the Positive Rock Show, and anytime in the hour it ends in 5. Weather on the 5s. Here on GJRB Online, here on Spreaker, the Gary Russen program, 5:30 Central Standard Time right now. In the middle of just to wrap it up, about, say, 15 more minutes left to go in our 50 minutes of nonstop talking music here on GJRB Online. So just to let you know about that. And that'll give me time to, again, let you know that next week we're going to be doing a video on YouTube showing our new radio schedule for GJRB. Looking forward to that. I got some really neat programs. We're going to be able to put these programs on. Some of these will be broadcasting continuously all day, and some of these programs will get individual runs. And now when they do multiple shows in the one 3-hour session, usually I'll have the program titles right on the postings. So you'll see the say GJRB online, or GJRB Online Network, and basically the program titles will be listed in the description, short description underneath. And you'll see the list of the programs in the order in which they air. And then when, so the programs will show in order. Now, the 3-hour programs like the one I do, some of the other programs with extended times will have 2-hour intervals in which we flip over and change programs. Other than that, a lot of the programs will be continuous. When I'm running the board during the day, I will have some of these programs, and I'll be in here flipping over whenever possible, because it will be connected to my FM signal as well, too, so that has everything to do with it. Also, some programs might not air live. They'll probably air as a pre-recorded, uploaded podcast, which will be scheduled to air live. It will be scheduled to air. In other words, it will be a podcast that will be pre-recorded, but it will be scheduled to be uploaded. It will be uploaded. It will be scheduled to go public automatically. So some of those programs will be pre-recorded music shows that really don't get an audience anyway on live. But I'll still try to do live versions of them. But most of the time, there'll be some programs I'm going to pre-record ahead of time and put them up as a recorded podcast. And those are the shows that I'll do sometimes on Sundays, especially if I want Sundays off. I'll sometimes record the Positive Rock Show and put it up. So I'll do that too. And of course, Spreaker FM 88.9 and all my other 9-foot closed circuit signals will still be broadcasting Spreaker programs, even if we're not doing them live. So we're going to do it that way as well. with a lot of the programs in order, either through the computer here or through my tablet and other means where I will set up a scheduled run of all the programs in order, either via tablet or on my media player here on the computer. So that's how we're going to do that. It makes it more interesting anyway, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, let's see. I had a little bit of fun with Mike today. I hope he didn't get upset. I did kind of broadcast this program briefly a couple of times over this airwaves, but I didn't keep it on long enough to I don't think cause any harm. But I'm hoping he'll catch it, because I like to do, and of course I got permission from my good friend Ed Delgado, the Caramel Conservative, that I could broadcast his program here on GJRB Online Network. So I would rebroadcast it on the GJRB Online Network and be on the program schedule here. And I'm hoping maybe eventually on down the line I'd like to do the same with Mike's program and maybe perhaps a couple of other fabulous programs here on Spreaker. And some of the commentaries, especially those ones from OBFSU, absolutely would be fabulous to broadcast those as space filler time, because there's some really good stuff there. Really is. All right, 24 minutes left and 39 odd seconds left to go in this program here on GJRB Online. This means about 24 minutes left to go of this show. Boys, time goes by when we're doing this show. I'm telling you. Time flies when you're having fun when you do a show like this. It really does. I'll be on again tomorrow, 3 o'clock Central Standard Time for the Gary Russen program, Saturday Extra. I'm going to get a hold of Ben, see if he wants to join us on the program. Otherwise, I've got some stuff set up that will be backup in case he doesn't make it onto the show. So we'll do that one tomorrow, and hope you'll tune in for that. Coming up next on our low-powered 9-foot closed-circuit signal, Spreaker FM 88.9, will be coming up MTFB Aviation Network. Some good music from Zach. And then later on tonight will be Fade to Black with, that's a good show, Fade to Black. And we'll have that one on. And hope you'll tune in for those. And later on, Spaced Out Radio at 11:06 tonight, right here on GJRB LPFM, Spreaker FM 88.9 on the FM radio dial. You know what I mean? Alrighty then, let's get started because it's time for our Spreaker shoutouts. Spreaker, Podbean shoutouts and promotions right now, ladies and gentlemen. All right, it's time now to get ready for that one. And you know, there's a lot of podcasters out there, a lot of podcasters putting on good programs like Mike Myers does. And he was on opposite me today with a great program, had some good guests on there. And, when they're on the air live and I'm up against what I think is a higher rated program, I can see why some networks didn't like putting some of their best programs up against higher rated programs. But you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's the same here with Podcast Land. You know, we got some podcasters out there have a great show, better than GJRB's, but we want to promote some of the good ones that are on the air all the time, quite often. And we want to promote some of them right now with our GJRB Spreaker Podbean podcast promotions. First off, on the deck is, of course, he's still on the air and on opposite us right now, the Mike Myers Show, Radio Hope Network. You can hear him 7 mornings a week, 365 days a year, 8 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time, 6 o'clock Pacific, right here on Spreaker. Talks about love and talks about family, and he has great guests. And even Muslim guests, different kind of guests, interesting guests, and you get a full impact of, relationships, love, and family, and love of God. So you gotta check him out. Mike Myers Show, 8 o'clock in the morning, Monday through Friday, right here on Spreaker. Later on tonight, you want to check in MTFB Aviation Network. That's some great music there, including Zach Baroque, otherwise known as Zach Friller, the Zach Attack. Plays some great music, does some variety of music from the 80s, country, rock. Plays a lot of really good stuff. You want to tune into MTFB Aviation Network. Zach Friller is on again tonight, I believe 6 o'clock. Puts on some good music, 6 o'clock Central Standard Time. And you can hear him again at 6 o'clock Standard, 4 o'clock Pacific. And, of course, good music, 7 o'clock Eastern Time. And comes from Indiana, MTFB Aviation Network. Tune into that tonight. It's fabulous stuff. And I want to check out Wednesday nights now, live on the air for Simone Nicole. This guy, his name is Josh. I don't know his OBF history. He plays some good music, talks a lot about health and fitness and healthy foods and stuff like that. This guy is fabulous. Puts on a good show. Tune into him. It's fabulous. And it's a Simone Nicole. Tune into that. And it's right here on Spreaker. Wednesday nights, 8 o'clock Central Standard Time, 6 o'clock Pacific, right here on Spreaker. And of course, almost just about every day, I think, I don't know how that's going to go. Ed Delgado's got some different schedule now. And he's going to be doing a show on Saturdays, the first Saturday of the month at noon. So he's going to be a fun act to follow, especially if I put the Gary Russen program on right after that. It's just going to be, oh boy, Gary Russen program. But we're going to be doing different program schedules. So I'm planning on doing jazz after that some Saturdays. Usually the first Saturday of the month after him will usually be the best of jazz. Unless I record the best of jazz and put it up as a podcast so I can do the Gary Russen program Saturday Extra, I might do that too a lot of times. So like I said before, a lot of the schedule is going to vary. And I'll tell you about that coming up. But anyhow, you'll find this program to be absolutely fabulous. The Ed Delgado, Caramel Conservative from Wisconsin. And he was on Tuesday nights at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time, 6 o'clock Pacific, 9 o'clock Eastern. But I don't know if he's going to only be doing a live broadcast on Saturdays. I don't think he's going to be on Tuesday nights anymore, as far as I know. Not sure. But we'll see what's going on there. Anyway, meanwhile, let's continue. Let's see, who else do we want to talk about? Oh, well, early in the morning, I think bright and early, even before Mike's on now, 7 mornings a week almost, is Bob Huber. The Huber Experience now early in the morning. Bob Huber does 45 minutes straight, non-stop, no 15-minute increments no more. He does this. This guy has gone up in the world. Yeah. Bob Huber, the Huber Experience, check him out. He's on the radio in the morning now, and he does a show live. Check him out early in the morning live through Radio Hope. I don't know if that's still going on, but anyway, check him out. The Bob Huber Experience. All these great programs on the internet right here. And GJRB is always glad and happy and proud to follow these people. And where can you find all these podcasters I mentioned and even the ones I didn't? Well, all you got to do is get into my Spreaker public site, www.spreaker.com/user/5120525, or just then, right when you get into that main site, you'll see where you'll find the social sites I'm on, like Facebook, Gary John Russen and Gary John, and or you can find that way, or you can just go into the Spreaker public, where we broadcast from, and you'll find it right there on Twitter. I am the Radio Maniac, that's what they call me on Twitter, and that's where you'll find my show. And when you get on there, just click on the show's icon, and you'll get right into my site, right into my chat room. You can stop in and say hi, and then you go into followers, and it'll list all the shows that I follow. All the shows that I follow. When you go in there, let's see, we can go in there right now to my main page, and you'll see all the shows that I follow. Everyone that are following me, everyone that I follow them. Yeah. And I'm following Ian Punnett. He's got a program in there too. Simone Nicole, I mentioned that earlier. Great program. Simone Nicole is following us now. Absolutely fabulous. Ian Punnett's got 22 followers. There I am. M3 is one of the newest ones that just joined us. M3 plays some great music. Comes out of Steubenville, Ohio, which is not far from me. As a matter of fact, I grew up in Pittsburgh in the Ambridge area, western Pennsylvania, and that's the closest Ohio city to us is Steubenville. It's near Youngstown and around Wheeling, West Virginia, in that area. It's just a fabulous part of Ohio and Pennsylvania and West Virginia. Absolutely fabulous. Steubenville, Ohio, home of former WSTV Channel 9 and WTOV Channel 9 now, NBC affiliate there. But anyway, N3 plays great music. And all these people are on here. USA Network, USA Radio's got Old Time Radio. Great stuff. Quest Nation puts on some good stuff. Zachary, I mentioned him earlier. We'll go down the page. We have Byron from Wikipissa Radio. Absolutely fabulous. These guys that are fabulous from Boston. Wikipissa Radio, the Black Dog Radio Network. These are all fabulous people. Fade to Black, MTFB. Black Dragons, but he is mostly on Podbean doing a show. He should be coming back soon. He's going to be doing a show pretty soon, Podbean. So check that out. AKCOG, now known as AK, and I think he changed his name on there. What is it now? I think it's COG 907. Fabulous. Okay, down the page, these are some of the ones that broadcast, put on programs. So these are the ones we want to recognize. Let's see, down the page here a little bit. Jazz, WJAZ, otherwise known as Lexington, Kentucky. Jazz, OBFSU, Caramel Conservative, Radio Hope, we mentioned those people. Fabulous. Spaced Out Radio, tonight, 11:06 Central Standard Time for some talk radio at its best, talking about the strange and bizarre. Big shout out to Ozzy, Snarky of Oz. She hasn't been on for a while. I haven't heard from her for quite some time, so we want a big shout out to her as well. And all the great people who occupy and do shows right here on Spreaker. You can find them all there. And you can be on the radio and do this Spreaker fun stuff. All you have to do is just start an account. That's SPREAKER Spreaker, and start broadcasting to the world. And of course, you can find other great stuff, including we're on Podbean. Podbean's another social site. Podbean's absolutely fabulous. Check out Podbean. That's PODBEAN. And there's various shows on there. They're absolutely fabulous. And you'll find Black Dragons Radio on Podbean. That's music. He plays music, talks to folks. It's a fabulous show. Tune in every night. Pretty soon when he gets back, I'll let you know when. That is Black Dragons Radio. And that is our shout-outs for tonight. The Podbean Spreaker shout-outs and promotions on GJRB. Be right back with the conclusion of the Gary Russen program in just mini moments. The blues, the primary start to rock and roll music. The music in which artists express their feelings through music. This is a new blues show featuring the best of the blues with new emerging artists getting their thrill of hearing their selections played along with the greats like Muddy Waters, B.B. King, and Etta James, along with a whole lot more. The doors open soon to the Blues House on GJRB. End times are upon us, and we need to know what's happening. Knowing the truth is key to survival. There are lots of news events going on in the world that have certain significance to end-time happenings. Listen, as men and women gather to discuss the news and how it lines up with Bible prophecy on the last 7 days. Uploaded as a podcast Wednesdays and run live every third Friday at 12 o'clock noon Central on GJRB. Suicide's increasing among the youth, and many of them playing suicide games. This has to stop. Parents, watch your kids, and if you feel there's something going on and they are considering suicide, please talk to them, help them. And if it seems hopeless, call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. That number is 1-800-273-8255. They can help. It's free and confidential. Your call will be answered by a trained counselor at a local crisis center. The National Suicide Prevention Lifeline can help. There's a problem on our roads today, and that is the safety of our children boarding and getting off the bus on busy roads. That problem is drivers who don't stop for a school bus when the arm is out, the lights are flashing, and the stop sign is out, leaving kids in danger of getting hit. Violators of this law could get a suspension of their driver's license and a $250 fine. When you see a school bus stop at a corner, letting off kids, stop 25 feet away from the bus. Don't take that chance. A public service announcement from the National Highway Safety Administration and GJRB Online.
If you're a new emerging artist and want your songs out there, the place to go is Reverb Nation. Reverb Nation, a website totally devoted to new music from new artists from every town and every state in the U.S. If you're a solo artist and recording your own music, it's Reverb Nation. Stop on by, visit, listen to the music, check out the site, www.reverbnation.com. Put your music out there and gain an audience. Go to Reverb Nation for the best in new music. And remember, if you like your songs played on GJRB Online's Up and Coming, drop me an email at GaryJ65@yahoo.com. And I'll be playing your song on all GJRB Online shows. Remember the name, Reverb Nation.
Yeah, one of our favorites from our smooth jazz playlist, Wabash Crossing, Calumet Brothers. And we'll be wrapping up our show here real soon here on GJRB Online. Of course, you can hear that song in its entirety. When we return, the best, our jazz weekend starts back up again, beginning of the first full week of February, toward the end there. That'll be February 7th and 8th. Here on GJRB Online, we bring you smooth jazz and smooth afternoon here on GJRB Online, some smooth jazz. And we'll start our broadcast about 3 o'clock that day. We won't be on any earlier than that. We're going to be on the air like maybe 3 or so, in and around there. But we'll have some smooth jazz for you. That'll be on live right here on GJRB Online, so you want to tune in for that broadcast. And then we got about 6 minutes left, so I thought I'd kind of use that time to say goodbye and let you know what we got coming up. Don't forget, Wednesday we'll be on the air on YouTube with our GJRB TV on YouTube channel. And subscribe there, and of course, don't forget that notification bell. We'll let you know when we're on live, and you can see our new schedule, which we'll have up. I've been working on it for quite some time. I have a lot of bugs to work out of it, but I think I got pretty much all the shows scheduled on there, just about, except for maybe a few. One of them, which is my Radioland Time Warp, which right now at this time, that show is kind of on hold until I do more research about some of the old program lineups. So right at this point, now I debuted that show, I think it was about a year or so ago, October. So it was basically a 000, which means it was a pilot. So, in a pilot show, like most networks, the pilot show might go on, but the rest of the series might not see the light of day. So this is a show, though, I like, because what I do with the Radioland Time Warp is I go back through old radio listings, which I found. Old radio listings. And give you the original network program lineup that aired that night on the radio. And I found a lot of the old programs in their original time slots, like The Shadow, or basically, the last time I aired it was, I think we did 1945, I think. Something like that, mid-40s. Anyway, we did a program lineup from that night from CBS, and included some pretty good shows there. And we'll repeat that first show, and then we'll start from that point on and start the series. But before I do that, though, I have to see the shows that I had originally aired, because I'm not sure about when they, when I need at least to build some show, some playlist, build some shows, and, get them scheduled. So it's just a matter of time. And, of course, like I said before, some of these shows may be airing live, and some may just be a uploaded podcast, which will air later. So that's how that works. All right, let's see. What else is going on here? Let's see. Want to wrap up this program, so I'm going to play an ending. I usually play my ending theme. So I'm going to go flip back over to that and say that's it for this show. I want to thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be back on the air tomorrow for the Gary Russen program, Saturday Extra. And if luck has it, we'll have Ben Osan on from Pittsburgh. Other than that, we'll be playing some stuff, clips from our last 7 days. Play some of those. I got a couple of those talking about some of the stories that I was going to come across today, including that story I didn't get to. I'm saving that story for the last 7 days clip that I'm going to play tomorrow. Talking about the churches that are kicking out their older members. Well, we're going to talk about that one, and a whole lot of other interesting stuff, including Wi-Fi and 5G. We'll talk about that. A whole lot more tomorrow. And let's see if we don't get Ben on tomorrow, then we're going to play Pastor Ron Johnston's 2020 predictions. So if you'll tune in for that tomorrow, right here on GJRB Online, here on Spreaker, and we'll have that on for you. And have a good time. I hope you'll join me for that show. We're going to have a good show tomorrow afternoon, 3 o'clock Central Time, right here on GJRB Online Network here on Spreaker. Thanks a lot for tuning in. I'm glad you enjoyed the show, and I hope you hit that like button. so we can get some more listeners. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Have yourself your best night ever. We'll catch you tomorrow at 3. Good night, everyone. This is the GJRB Online Network.